you guys.
What's that girl's name again from Midsommar?
Florence Pugh.
Yeah. Jenny's worried that Florence Pugh is going to see that video and think that she's got a big head.
Well, because Sandra changed her name to Has a Big Head. Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. I think dudes, when they try to compliment people like that, I think they're not really... I mean, girls are going to focus on the Has a Big Head part, and he's like, but it's cute, though. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, but ours... I'm like, is my head big?
Well, what it is...
I didn't... Well, because I will tell you one thing. I didn't realize that I had flat feet until you told me that I had flat feet.
Should have known that when you were buying shoes. I
just thought I had regular ass feet. Like everybody said. I never thought about it.
Yeah.
And then you were like, man, you got like some flat feet. And I was like, are they?
Yeah.
And now I'm like all self-conscious about it.
Yeah. Well, in the Army, you know what I mean? Dudes keep track of who's flat-footed and who isn't because, you know what I mean? It has to do with boots. And fucking marching.
Yeah.
In the infantry. So, yeah, you knew who flat-footed dudes are.
I probably should have known that.
There's certain advantages to it.
Although it's probably not good because I was looking up because I've had like lately like the last probably year maybe two.
Yeah.
I've had like really really bad heel pain in my left foot and then like pain in my like big toe joint and my friend I think it might be plantar what is it called plantar fasciitis or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Which usually comes from it comes from a lot of things but it comes from like not having ill-fitting shoes, wearing high-heeled shoes, being on your feet too much, that kind of shit. So I suspect that I might be having that problem.
Well, you're kind of like a free-range child, you know what I mean? I don't think your mom really fucking, knew what to do with your kids. I don't really know, but, fucking, if we had kids that had flat feet, especially when they were little kids, there were special shoes you were supposed to get them.
Well, now, my feet when I was a kid, because I remember vaguely that when I was in 5th or 6th grade, I remember there was some talk, not so much because there were flat feet, but because my feet were like, I was a little bit pigeon-toed.
Yeah, not anymore.
And so I think that there was some kind of talk of like me like wearing braces or like wearing feet like that. I think I remember that because I remember thinking to myself when I was in elementary school, oh God, please like don't make me wear those because everybody will like already makes fun of me as it is, and it's like that it'll be even worse. But it's like I never did end up wearing them. So
arched feet are mostly kind of a European thing. I think a lot of Asians have arched feet, but flat feet is typically an African type foot. It's better at running, but it's not good in cold weather. The whole reason for arched feet was because people in cold weather climates had evolved to get as much of their foot off the ground as possible.
That makes sense.
Because it sucks a lot of heat out of the bottom of your body, through the feet. Because cold ground just sucks it right out of you. Civilians don't fucking know. They're mostly indoors and temperature controlled and shit. If you're in sub-zero weather, it makes a huge fucking difference of whether or not you're fucking flat-footed or not. You're trying to get as much of your damn body off of that fucking cold surface as you can. Even if you had some kind of primitive leather shoe, it would make a big difference. But really, flat feet are the best for running. They're like all your real good runners, especially when it comes to speed, they're flat-footed.
Honestly, though, like nowadays, remember for a while, like I was getting those inserts that you put in your shoes, like to give you like arches. Because my feet were starting to hurt, and it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. And it's like I walk a lot, like because I walk like miles and miles every day, and it's getting to a point now where I'm just kind of like, man, I really got to do something about this because it's like I'm not gonna be able to walk.
You need to get you some arch supports.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, typically Caucasians aren't genetically really supposed to have them.
And they tell you, too, I was, like, looking it up on, like, WebMD and shit like that, and they said there's not really a shit ton they can do about it. They said, it's like, if it gets really bad, they can, like, inject steroids and stuff, but, like, to get rid of the pain. But they're, like, the best thing to do is, like, foot massage. Like, get kind of those foam balls and, like, roll them under your feet all the time, like, to kind of... Because it's supposed to, like, loosen up your foot muscles, because that's kind of what the problem is.
Putting an arch support in there, of course, pushes the foot up into a better posture. You know what I mean? Because a lot of white people that have flat feet, it was more like a collapsed arch than it was that they were genetically born with flat feet. They weren't born that way. The arches collapsed through not wearing shoes or weight or being heavy as a child can do it. There's a lot of things that can do it.
That's what I mean. I don't really remember if I had flat feet as a kid and then there was just like fallen arches later. If my feet have always been like this, I don't really remember. I mean, I don't know. They were just my feet. I didn't really think about it. So it's possible that I could have had fallen arches later just because I wore like shitty shoes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, because I wasn't heavy as a kid. Yeah, I was I was actually pretty skinny.
I look at people like they're sides of beef anyway.
I'm not sure if that's a good thing, though.
No. Well, it comes from being in the horse industry and comes from being in basically physical sports. You know what I mean? Fucking military background and stuff. You're looking at somebody and say, what can you do with them? What you shouldn't do with this person? Because we just see each other.
Can we eat this person? Yeah. Will they be delicious?
Well, people are pack animals to us.
That's nice.
People are pack animals.
It's always nice to be considered in that way.
Well, I had to carry my own body weight and equipment, about 145, 150 pounds when I was young.
Mr. Robata says, Jenny, you're pretty skinny now. Well, thank you. I'm not, but thank you.
See what everybody's doing.
But yeah, so I don't know. I've just been thinking about it lately. It's like it was before I went on my walk this morning, because I'm still going, goddammit. Because I got to see Mr. McGuire. I got to give him his food every day. And, but so this morning, like, I did, like, a whole bunch of, like, more calf stretches than I would normally do. And that helped, like, through half of it. But then on the way back, it was worse. So I'm just kind of like, I'm not really sure. I don't know. I have to do something about it. The joint on the big toe isn't too bad because it's like I'm not stepping right on it. Yeah. But like the left foot, it's almost kind of like there's no skin on the heel. It's like I'm stepping on like bone. You know what I mean? That's what it feels like.
Yeah, there's no pad there.
Yeah, and it feels like really, really bad. Like I looked it up and I'm imagining that's probably what it is. And like I said, there's not really all that much they can do about it.
Inject some steroids in there.
Other than inject some steroids. It said in horrible cases...
Did they say which one?
No, but they said in horrible cases you could get surgery, but it's like I can't afford that, one. And it's like, two, I'm not going through all that bullshit.
Just better shoe insole.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm going to like kind of get some of those roller foot massage things, because they said that actually does help, like rolling your feet like over those, like foam balls and shit. I said foam balls.
That's funny.
Terry says flat feet people have a lot of arch enemies.
Yeah.
Such a dad joke. Okay, so is my head big?
No.
I don't have a big head, right? See, I never thought about it.
Her head isn't big. It just looks big. It looks big because...
I'm sorry, Florence.
Yeah.
You're beautiful.
Yeah, she's cute. I like her. She's cute.
I do too. I think she's awesome.
Her head isn't big. It's that she's small. And she's got kind of a slender frame, and when you put hair on her head, and she's got a real strong jaw, and kind of a square face.
Yeah.
So when she has short hair, or any kind of hat on or anything, she looks like a lollipop. She's got a big, cute head and a little body. But it's cute. It's like something, it's like a Graylien.
She looks little bitty, like short. She looks short. Little. I mean, she looks short. Little. I don't know how short she is, but she looks short.
Yeah.
Like, not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm short too.
Her best movie is Fighting with My Family. We saw that twice in the theater, and I own it on Blu-ray.
She's so cute in that. Yeah, she's so cute in that.
And I own it on Blu-ray. It's a really good movie.
I wasn't expecting, like, I saw it, and, like, I saw some of the people that were in it, like, the dude that had, like, was one of the writers for The Office and stuff, and I figured, that'll probably be good, but it was, like, way better than I was expecting it to be.
And it's also, like, a great Florida movie. It's shot in locations that me and Jenny know. We know those places.
Yeah, a lot of it was shot here in Orlando.
It's right here in Orlando.
I mean, it's a British movie, so,
Yeah. But, and, when she was getting into wrestling, and just her family story, Paige, it's about Paige.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a little bit more upbeat version of Pain and Gain, which that's another really good Florida movie. But that's
no one gets shot and killed in this one. Yeah,
no one gets shot in this one. But,
or beaten to death or whatever. So,
but Fighting with My Family about Paige, English girl being a wrestler, and Pain and Gain, roid head muscle instructor who
decides to ransom a dude.
Yeah, he ransoms a Jewish New York dude for fucking money, and he ends up getting a life sentence because that dude died. That's another fucking fantastic. Bad shit
ensues.
And it's another fantastic.
It's a dark comedy though.
Florida movie. It's got The Rock in it and everything. It's got Marky Mark. What's his name? What's his real name? Marky Mark's real name.
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg. And he does a great job in the movie of just playing a dumbass.
He's really good at those types of roles. I don't think he's a dumbass in real life. I don't know. He's not. But he's really good at playing those types of... Well, because we were talking about that when we were talking about Boogie Nights. He's just really good at playing these sort of like wide-eyed, naive... like kind of dummies, but that are kind of endearing at the same time.
He plays this musclehead who's got this gym down in South Florida. He owns a gym, doesn't he? Or does he just work there? I don't remember. I think he just works there. He's a physical instructor. And he just says the fucking stupidest fucking shit. It's fucking funny as fuck. And he thinks he's a lot smarter than he really is. And he makes a lot of money. It's an endemic problem
around the world, I've noticed.
Yeah. He gets involved in all kinds of fucking crooked shit. And in drugs and stuff, and fucking he ends up making a shit ton of money down in South Florida, chasing fucking good looking women and shit, and he just loses all of his fucking money, and fucking ends up committing all these crimes, and he just goes down in flames, taking everybody with him. Takes his buddy down with him, another musclehead played by The Rock, and that was The Rock's fucking greatest role of all time, was to play Mark Wahlberg's fucking brother or buddy down there in South Florida. He plays a fucking musclehead Jesus freak.
Yeah,
it's fucking great, man. It's just these are all based on real people.
I think The Rock's character is kind of like a combination of a couple different characters, but they're all kind of like, because we did a review. We did a review on that movie, didn't we? Because somebody sent it to us.
Yeah, he was a real hardcore Christian, but he's doing all these crimes, and you just got to see it, man. It's a great movie.
Somebody brought up, speaking of Mark Wahlberg, somebody brought up Fear. That is actually a good movie, and he plays a bad guy in that. Doesn't he play like a stalker? I kind of feel like that's like a stalker boyfriend type situation. I remember that being really good. It's like a thriller.
But for you people,
I remember him being
for you people who don't live in Florida and you want to get that Florida vibe, those are the two movies that you want to get. You want to get Pain and Gain and Fighting with My Family.
Even though, like I said, a lot of Fighting with My Family is in the UK.
Yeah, some of that's in the UK. But that's a good movie if you lived in Europe. What it would be like to move to Florida. There's a lot of that in it. It's like, especially if you were to...
It was just funny, like, the first time we watched it, and I was just kind of like, hey, I know where that is. Hey, we drive by, hey.
That's up the street. Yeah.
I guess everybody thinks that whenever their hometown is in a movie. Yeah. It's just, like, kind of funny, like, to see.
Yeah, they're passing all of the damn buildings we pass when we go to the club.
Yeah. It's funny because, speaking of Europeans coming to the U.S., I found this show last night. So last night, since I didn't really need to watch a movie for the movie retrospective or matinees or anything, I was just kind of like, okay, well, I'm gonna finish up, because remember I said I was watching that series. It's on Amazon Prime, that's about Ted Bundy, but it's called Falling for a Killer. So it's kind of mostly from like his girlfriend's point of view, like what's her name, Elizabeth, that was going out with him at the time when he was doing all the murders, and she didn't know about it, and she was kind of the one that she didn't turn him in, but she kind of like alerted the police. And so they have an interview with her and, the daughter that Ted Bundy helped raise, which is fucked up, who is grown up now, obviously. So I finished watching that, and that was really good. And then I thought to myself, man, it's like I'm in a Gordon Ramsay kind of mood. I'm kind of feeling that kind of vibe. And so I'm looking on Tubi, because a lot of they have like all the Gordon Ramsay on Amazon Prime, but I think you have to have like the Discovery Plus add-on, which we don't have. So I went on Tubi because they have a bunch of free shit. And on Tubi, they had this entrancing show. How does Gordon Ramsay, does he have like that time turner shit from Harry Potter? Because it's like, how the fuck does he have time to do all these? But he has a million fucking shows. A million. It does
not take very long to shoot.
I guess not. But it's like, so there was this one show. It wasn't like a whole series. It was just like one show, but I think it was like an hour and a half or 2 hours or something. So it must have been like some kind of special. And it was like Gordon Ramsay's American Road Trip. That's what it was called, right? Yeah. And it was him and that French dude, Fred something. That's what I've seen him on some of other Gordon's other shows.
A French dude and a Syrian dude.
No, the other dude was Italian.
He was Italian, okay.
The other dude was Gino something. The Gino dude that wrote all the cookbooks, and then Fred dude, the chef that knows all the shit about the wine. I've seen that guy before. So it was all of them, and they rented a camper, and they went out. They did like a Western United States road trip. So they went to like LA, they went to San Francisco, they went to Texas, they went down to Mexico. They went and it was fucking hilarious. The three of them, I guess that's like their best friends or whatever. And the three of them were just like fucking, it was just like three idiot teenagers doing a road trip. They were just like, and the two Europeans. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. But that's what was so funny about it. It's like Gino specifically, the Italian, was just like drunk all the time, and it was just like, but he was like not even shy about it, and it was super super funny. And it's just like
they were jacked about seeing cowboys, like real cowboys.
Yeah, they got like cowboy outfits. They got to like do a.
They looked like cowboys when they got.
They got to the ranch. They got to like go to and like you couldn't.
He was all honored to fucking meet real cowboys and then eat with them and shit.
Well, the two like the French guy was like the French guy and the Italian guy were like, man, and we all wanted to be cowboys when we were little boys, you know. Yeah. So it's like they were super, because they were really into westerns and stuff, and so they were super super jacked about it. And it's just like, and another thing is you couldn't get those two European dudes. You could not get them to keep their fucking clothes on. Seriously, they were just like running around with their wangs hanging out. Well, there was a whole thing where they had a sequence where they were in LA. And I guess Gordon has a house there, a mansion. It's a big, huge fucking mansion compound situation. And his mom was staying there. So they went to visit his mom, and then he decided that they were going to have like a burger competition. Like, so whoever had the best burger, right? And then the mom, who's pretty cranky and she's pretty awesome. So she's going to judge like whose burger is the best of like all of them. So Gordon wants to do like an American style one, but good. And then like the European dudes were going to do like more European. And so Gordon, of course, is just like, well, the ones that lose, you have to take off all your clothes and jump in the pool. And so, of course, the Europeans lost because the mom was judging. And
his mom wanted to see him naked.
I kind of think she did, man.
Mr. Roboto brings up the Florida muscle ninjas. Remember those? From Pain and Gain? That's fucking funny. You guys got to see the movie to understand that. Those muscle dudes dressed up like ninjas in the 80s to fucking threaten people and abduct them. And they were seen. And when people reported that it was ninjas, the cops didn't believe it, but they were muscle men dressed up as ninjas. That's so in a way, and I think even when we saw the movie, I said that's a really good idea, because if like people call the cops and say, "Hey, I just got like beat up by ninjas," the cops are gonna be like, "Fuck off!" Of here. Click. The thing is, though, is that the dudes were so dumb that they dressed up like ninjas, not thinking that would be a great disguise that the cops wouldn't believe it. They just did that because they thought you were supposed to dress up like fucking ninjas. Because
they thought they looked badass.
Yeah, they looked badass. They got nunchucks.
Let's get a Spirit Halloween and get like the ninja costume.
See what else is going on here.
But like I said, that was like accidentally they stumbled into like kind of a good idea. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It would just be like, I mean, I feel like if I'm not going to do this, but if I was going to like, not rob a bank, but because you probably just get shot. But if you're just gonna like mug people or whatever, it's like wear one of those big like fucking inflatable or foam dinosaur suits or whatever, and then people say, "I just got mugged by a dinosaur."
Sandra says that the new Sandra, who has a big head, said the new M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movie has been out for a few days. Haven't watched it yet though. I don't know anything about that one.
I've been seeing mixed reviews.
Mixed reviews.
Because I watched a couple reviews of it, like non-spoiler ones, because I said maybe I'll go see this one. I don't know. It looked kind of cool, like from the preview. Yeah. Some of the channels I watch, like that I respect their opinion and stuff, were like, I really dug it, but I could see how other people could think it was dumb. And then the other channels were like, this is the dumbest movie ever made.
Victor Garcia said Samsung TV has a Kitchen Nightmares channel.
Yeah.
A whole Kitchen Nightmares 24/7. Yeah,
there's probably like on Pluto TV.
Enough of them to do that. Yeah.
I would think that they probably have a Kitchen Nightmares, because Pluto TV, if you didn't know, Pluto.tv has a whole Mystery Science Theater channel, and they have a whole Rift channel. So you can just put it on. I mean, the MST one, since the episodes are so long, they usually will play like there are 4 or 5 episodes a day, and they'll just like repeat them a couple of times. But the Rift ones, I guess the Rift does that too. And the Rift is cool because they'll like put shorts in between and stuff. Like if there's, it's pretty cool. Like I said, when I was on vacation and I was in my Airbnb, they had Pluto TV on the thing, so I just like left it on the MST channel and just like let it run all the time, like while I was doing other shit. Because I like having, that was something I used to do like back in my old house. Like a lot of times I would just like put Mystery Science Theater, even episodes I'd seen like a bunch of times, I would just put it on in the background like while I was cleaning or doing something else. I don't know, there's something like comforting about it. So that's what I kind of did when I was there too. Mike says Ramsey gets on my nerves after a while. I can see that.
Joe Nash says I got the cookbook today. Yay!
All right. Good. Yeah, y'all should do a show about the Sun Gym Gang. Well, we did a review of Pain and Gain, the movie, and I think we talked about the gang on there. Did we not? So it's kind of, that was kind of like we did a show about it because we were kind of talking about what happened in real life. Fourth row down. 911, what's your emergency? Yeah, it's ninjas.
I was attacked by ninjas. The ninjas beat me up. Yeah.
See, and I can see if I was a police dispatcher, I'd probably just be like, yeah, go fuck yourself. Yeah. And just, like, hang up. Because I'm sure they get, like, a bunch of stupid fucking phone calls all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, what started the whole thing is that a dude moved here from New York, which happens quite a lot. We got we know a lot of people that move here from New York. He was a real rich guy, and what's the dude's name in real life? Not Mark Wahlberg, but the guy who Mark Wahlberg was playing. Do you remember what his name was?
No, I can't remember.
He worked at the gym there, and he was his trainer. He was training this dude from New York, and the guy was uppity and bragging a lot about how much money that he had, and it was because of his education. So that guy targeted him for that. He says, I'm gonna steal all his money, and abducted him. Plan. Abducted him, was torturing him over a long period of time, they were trying to get him to sign over stuff, and he did sign over a bunch of shit to him. Yeah. His house and everything, I think.
Well, yeah, because they moved into it, remember?
Yeah, they moved into it.
And trashed it.
Fucked it up. And, but the guy fucking ended up dying. He got charged for murder. They eventually figured out that it was him. But they were doing weird shit to him. I think... Weren't they scaring him? I think they scared him a couple times before they abducted him. Or did somebody see him being abducted and it was ninjas? I think a ninja attacked him.
It was in a parking lot, right?
Yeah. I think ninjas during the day. Him. I think a ninja's attacked him
if I remember correctly. It's been a while.
It's fucking crazy. I gotta see it again.
Jason Badass says, would you guys review the first 2 Ghostbusters movies with Afterlife coming out soon? We probably should. Because honestly, we did. No, we haven't done Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. Yeah, because Afterlife, I'm not sure when that's coming out, but yeah, I just saw that, because they've been talking about like that forever, and I'm like, well, you guys better hurry up, because fucking Harold Ramis is dead, and
it's probably gonna suck.
A lot of the people, well, I don't know, it might not. I just don't go into things with that attitude.
Yeah. The fucking reboot game the past couple fucking years has been shit.
Well, this is supposed to be a sequel. Like, so they're having like all the surviving people are still going to be in it. Yeah. But like I said, Harold Ramis, who played Egon, he died. I think is Dan Aykroyd still alive? Dan Aykroyd's still alive, right? Bill Murray's still alive. So okay, so 2 out of 3.
I'm just skeptical.
I mean, Egon was a good character, though. Yeah. And, like, they're going to have to, like, write that into the movie, I'd imagine.
They came out with the all-female Ghostbusters, and it fucking bombed. They said it was terrible. I didn't see it.
I haven't seen it, so I can't say. Because I've seen some channels that said, you know, it's like, stop. Like, it was perfectly fine. Like, I don't know what everybody was, like, crying about, but you know what I mean. But I don't know. I didn't see it because I was just kind of like, well, we didn't really, you know, need another, like, a Ghostbusters remake necessarily.
No, it wasn't.
But I don't mind. If they want to do a sequel, as long as it's good, I'm not bothered.
I'm just very skeptical that anything's going to be good.
Victor says Slimer is still alive. Yeah. Right. Yeah, so there you go.
I think the only thing that's going to be good is the new Dune. The new Dune supposedly is fucking badass.
Oscar says, are you guys excited to see Antlers? When the fuck is that shit coming out? Because it's like, I remember seeing the trailer for that way back when the theaters were still open. That was the one like about the Wendigo shit. And it's like, and the trailer like looked really good, and it kept getting pushed back and pushed back. And it looked really good. So yeah, I'm jacked about that one.
I want to see the new Nicolas Cage movie Hog.
Pig.
That's right, Pig.
My sister saw it.
What she said was good?
Yeah, she liked it.
Okay. Pig. Fucking Cage is good, man. He's a brilliant actor. He's a fucking brilliant actor.
Well, he gives it 110%.
110%. Even if that was a shitty movie, even that fucking shitty Predator fucking ripoff movie that he did, he was the best part of that movie. He knew he was in a piece of shit, but he was just selling it. He doesn't fucking phone it in. he's gonna fucking go 100%.
Well, like I said, that's why I respect the dude, because he's just kind of like, I know this movie's gonna suck, but I'm just gonna like fucking lean into the suckage.
Yeah. That's why I want to see Wicker Man again. I saw it. Everybody laughed at it. I liked it. I remember liking it.
Well, it's entertaining. Yeah. It's not a good movie, but it's entertaining.
Yeah. Well, you know, it wasn't like a work of art like Mandy.
Oscar said Pig is good. I saw it last night.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've heard it was good.
Was it streaming?
I don't know. My sister saw it in the theater.
Okay.
Thank you, Zach. Jen, I'm going to start doing a new screenplay based on the Nora Fuller case from your book. Ooh, neat. That was a weird case. The details from it are so fascinating and creepy. Oh my god, like, let me read it when you get it. Marissa says, I actually thought the female version of Ghostbusters was pretty funny. I didn't get the hate either. That's kind of what a lot of people, like I said, I haven't seen it. I might see it eventually, but that's what some channels were just kind of like. I think everybody just freaked out without seeing it because they're like, it's fine. They're like, you know, it's not as good as the original, but what the fuck is? They're like, it was still pretty funny. Whatever. Let's see.
CCB said it was like a true story. His lawyer got kidnapped and said his kidnappers were letting him sleep with girls and other crazy shit, and the cops didn't believe him, but it was true. I think he's talking about the shit that happened in Florida.
Yeah. Fourth Row Down says a feature-length episode of Kingdom was released on Netflix a few days ago. Yeah, I saw that. I thought it was like a season 2 type, or I guess it would be season 3. Wasn't there 2 seasons of Kingdom? Do you remember that? That was like the one about it was like zombies, but it was like set back in the old days with the samurais and whatnot. Remember that? That was like really good.
Which was it called? What was it called again?
Kingdom.
Yeah, it was alright.
Yeah, remember we saw that. But
there were 2 of them that were similar. Kingdom was one of them. Remember there was
and then there was another one that was called. Well, there was a series. Yeah. Kingdom was a series, and then there was a movie that was called Monstrum. Yeah, there was a movie that was called Monstrum that was almost the same premise, but I think they came out like right around the same time, so it's not like one ripped off the other. It just happened.
Terry said that the female Ghostbusters is a dumpster fire.
Yeah, like I said, you know, it might be. I don't know. Like, I've never seen it. But then I've seen some other people saying, you know, it was totally fine and, like, they didn't really get why they hated it so much. But you know what I mean. Everybody's going to be the way they're going to be. Victor said, yeah, there's 2 seasons. I thought there were, because I'm pretty sure we did a review of that a while back.
It was like The Predator. Isn't that what it was called? The last Predator movie? They had all the crazy dudes from the VA.
Yeah.
I was okay to see it the first time. I tried to watch it again, and it wasn't anywhere near as good. It's got a lot of slow spots in it, and it didn't seem to age well. Remember Predators? They all sound like the fucking Predator. They all got the same goddamn name. The one where they're on the damn alien planet.
The one with Adrian Brody in it. Yeah, I remember that one.
A lot of people didn't like that when it first came out, but that's one of my favorite ones.
I actually really liked that movie.
Yeah, it gets better every time.
It's really good.
It ages real well. The only thing I didn't like about it is that the Brody guy, he's kind of doing his Batman voice a little bit. He's kind of skinny. I think he should have been kind of a bigger dude. You know what I mean? A lot of the other guys were bigger. But, you know, whatever. I think it would have been better with somebody kind of like, you know... dude from Fury Road, somebody like that.
Tom Hardy.
Like Tom Hardy or somebody.
Mr. Roboto says, will you and Jenny review Willy Wonderland? We did.
Yeah.
We did a matinee on it a while back. You know what's weird is that... I was just thinking about Willy Wonderland the other day because somebody introduced an ARG. What the fuck is it called? I can't remember. And I don't remember when it first started coming out. But it was almost the same exact premise as Willy's Wonderland in the sense that it was supposed to be, I wish I could remember the name of it. I saw it on Nexpo. And he was talking about, it's like about like these found footage, like these old VHS tapes that are supposed to be like employee training videos of essentially like a Chuck E. Cheese or Willy's Wonderland type situation where there was just kind of like this animatronics, and then I don't know if they ate people or if they like killed people and stuffed them inside the animatronics or something like that. But it was just like really weird because I'm like watching this breakdown of this ARG and I'm like, that sounds just like Willy's Wonderland. I wonder, did Willy's Wonderland get the idea from that, or did was that around before that? Or I don't know. Because I know there was another movie. Well, Five Nights at Freddy's was kind of like Willy's Wonderland too. And that came out before.
Willy's Wonderland was good. I liked it.
I liked it too. Yeah. And I liked that like Nicolas Cage didn't say a single word.
He didn't have to say anything. He was too badass.
Which I thought was super funny. They should totally make a sequel to that.
He was too badass to say anything.
Maybe he couldn't say anything. I feel like...
Took lunch break, too.
He did.
Took plenty of lunch breaks.
Even when people were getting killed, he's just like, beep, beep, it's lunchtime. Sorry, checking out. Yeah. That's what you got to, you know. That's, you're legally entitled to take a lunch break, and, you know, you got to do it.
Yep.
Exact amount of time. And he'd always have his, like, soda or whatever. And, so that was one of the funny things about that. But like I said, I kind of feel like they should make a sequel because they need to... It almost seemed like they were setting it up for a sequel, right? Because it was like him and that girl, and they kind of like rode off into the sunset, and it's like you didn't know his backstory, and it's like...
Victor's talking about Monstrum. Monstrum was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it.
It's pretty good.
I didn't like it as much as the series, but if you liked Kingdom, you'd probably like Monstrum as well, because it's pretty much the same... Because Monstrum was a movie. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was just like self-contained.
It was alright. The one that was the Korean one that was disappointing was the Train to Busan 2
Peninsula.
I
know. I really wanted to love that, and it's like I just kind of liked it.
Yeah.
Train to Busan was so good. It's like really hard to follow that up.
The script for Peninsula just wasn't tight. It wasn't tight enough.
Yeah.
I think they tried to spread everything a little too thin. They tried to talk about too many people. It wasn't a singular driving survival story.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Because I kind of feel like...
Because that whole movie was situational. Them on that damn train.
And the thing that made Train to Busan great was, like you said, there was like a handful of characters, and they were all really compelling.
Right.
And you really gave a shit about them, like when bad shit happened to them. Like that one kind of tubby guy that was in there. It's like I was like really upset when that dude like bought it. I was like, no,
the guy who sacrificed himself.
Yeah, because that dude was awesome.
Yeah.
And then like the end, like really made me really bummed me out. It was like so sad at the end. Marissa said, have y'all seen Mom and Dad with Nicolas Cage? That's actually been on my list for a while because I think it's on Amazon Prime or Hulu. I can't remember. And I keep like seeing it when I'm scrolling past.
What's that about?
I'm not sure, but it's like, I just keep seeing it like come up in my recommended. And I'm just kind of like, man, I need to watch that one of these days. And I just haven't got around to it.
Yeah.
Just Pepper says, House of Leaves would make a good TV series plus ARG combo. I agree. I'm surprised. Actually, I'm not surprised no one's tried to adapt that because I'm not even sure how I would go about adapting that. It would be like real. I mean, somebody could do it. I'm sure. I'm gonna reread that book sometime before the end of the year because I want to like review it because so many people have asked me to do it. I read it like a long time ago, and it's so awesome. It's just like I said, it's not even a book. It's just like a whole like fucking experience. So, but I'm probably gonna leave it till the end of the year so I have like a lot of time to like digest it, you know, because it takes so long. Did we do The Ring? Yeah, we did. I didn't do the sequel though because I didn't like the sequel. But I love The Ring though. What?
Some asshole jumped in. His name is Oy Vey. Fucking, and he's fucking to join your local Nazis. Fucking,
oh my goodness! Such an edgelord.
He's edgelord, and it says this the Jewish boy Summer or something. Somebody deleted him.
Yeah, exactly.
Bye bye.
What are you, 12?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
His name is Oy Vey.
Oh my god, I don't have any patience for that kind of crap. It's like, what is this, 2005? Get out of here.
Yeah, I know.
Get out of here.
That kind of trolling is passé.
That's what I mean. It's like, God, I was sick of that trolling when I was like fucking 20 years ago, 20 years ago, 15 years, however long it was.
Some people probably stuck in there.
I suppose.
Yes. Stuck into an earlier age.
Yeah, that's either like a really, really young person or a really, really old person. Oh my god.
I find all that shit humorous. I'm not offended by anything.
Yeah, well, I'm not either. Yeah. I just think it's like...
It's just when they're trying to offend people.
Well, it's just like, I don't understand why people don't... This is why we can't have nice things. It's like, why... This is why shit doesn't get accomplished, because people, like, so many people are busy doing stupid shit like that. It's like, find something useful to do with your time, you retard.
He's probably fun.
Oh, see, look, there's another one.
What's he saying now?
Child rapist. I can't even read that.
Okay.
Long live Israel, rape babies.
Okay, yeah.
It's a boomer hacker. Probably. Yeah,
it's a boomer hacker.
Nice try.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Interestingly,
probably the same guy.
It probably is, yeah. Gosh, you're so clever.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, well, somebody was saying the funny thing about, David June said if he supports Nazis, what does he have, the Jewish thing? Interestingly, the show that we're doing Friday night is about, the Raelians, you know, which is a cult or religion. Actually, the more I read about them, I'm like, they seem pretty okay. But you know what I mean? The only, like, they're weird, but they're not like, you know, oh my God, like you're gonna end up murdered weird. Like, not anything that I've seen. However, they did get in a bit of hot water because the symbol of their religion, and they had to know that this was going to cause problems, is a Jewish star with a swastika inside. Like, it's kind of like a stylized version of it. You can still tell what it is. I'm like, that seemed like not the best idea, but okay.
Who did that?
The Raelians.
The Raelians did it, yeah.
And it's dumb because it really doesn't have anything to do with their belief system. It's like, why don't you just, like, come up with your own fucking logo? Be original. So that's, like, the only thing that pissed me off about them. But they were just kind of like, come up with your own shit. It's just like,
they must have had something like, juxtaposition of opposites. Or
well, they keep saying they're using the swastika like in the old term, which like I said, it did used to be before it was co-opted by the Nazis, and now everybody like recognizes it as that. But it was like, you know, an actual...
It's been around for a long time.
Yeah, like the four winds and shit like that.
It's actually a Buddhist symbol.
Yeah, right. And you still see it, like, on temples and stuff over there.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, you know, in the West, it means something, like, a lot different than it used to mean, which is a shame. So they were trying to go back to the original... I guess they were trying to, like, reclaim it, maybe. Yeah, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if
time for that one's passed.
I think maybe it's too late to do that. Yeah. Like, just think of something else.
You used to see it in Korea. They used to use it kind of like the Red Cross symbol. It's like their version of, like, pharmacies had that on it. You know what I mean? Like, if we have a Red Cross, they'd have that damn swastika.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like... not real pharmacies, but like their version of like homeopathic, like Korean and Eastern medicine, which is, you know, hot suction cups on you and shit like that. That's where you go to. You
hot suction cup action.
You never seen that shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the hot suction cups and all that kind of shit. That's what they
had. The hot rocks they put on you.
That was the symbol that they had
little
out there.
Needles, whatnot.
Was like a swastika.
Although it's not really. I mean, I always thought. Somebody correct me, but I always thought that homeopathic, that was a specific thing that came out of the whole counterintuitive belief that the less of a medicine that you put in something, like the more effective it was, which doesn't make any sense to me, but okay. So they dilute the medicine in water until there's essentially like none of it left. You know what I'm saying? But then they think that's supposed to be like even more effective, even though it's essentially just water, because they don't know how chemistry works.
Yeah.
So... yeah, that's what I mean. When something says homeopathic remedy on it, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh, so it's just water, so you might as well just stay home and drink water out of your tap, because that's about as effective as it's going to be.
Got that same dude jumping in here asking to see my boobs.
You want to see your boobs?
Yeah, of course.
That's new.
God, my boobs are bigger than fucking most of these bitches.
Sleazy bees eating a live octopus and it sticks to your throat and you suffocate. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That reminded me of Old Boy. That dude eating that like octopus that was still alive. It was like grabbing his face. I was like, I felt so bad for that octopus.
Yeah.
Grabbing his face while it's going. It's like, no, please don't eat me.
Yeah.
Octopuses are smart. Maybe only one troll who switches channels.
It's just one.
It's probably, yeah. Yeah, they just keep switching names.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, they clearly don't have anything better to do. So, I don't know. Whatever.
What are you talking about? He's getting mentioned. He's getting mentioned.
That's really all they want on a life?
Yeah.
Wow, that's sad.
He's getting mentioned. I find all that shit funny. I don't give a shit.
Oh my god, why don't you just like go jerk off or something?
He probably is.
Well, he might be jerking off at the same time. Oh my god. Has anyone seen the movie The Lobster? Not yet, but that one's on my list as well. That's the one where like if you don't wait a minute. Isn't that the one where like if you don't okay. Oh, my computer's doing weird shit again. Where like if you don't have sex by a certain age, like you turn into a lobster or you turn into a monster or an animal or something, right? It had some weird premise like that, and I said, ooh, that sounds right up my alley. But I haven't got around to watching it yet. Like I said, my fucking to watch movie list is 40 miles long, you know?
Yeah.
And I just feel, and every time, I think I said this before, but I was just like, every time I go through my list, like to put shit up in the poll, you know, for people to vote on for the next review, I'm just kind of like, I'm scrolling through Hulu and I'm scrolling through Amazon Prime and I'm scrolling through Shudder and I'm just like, oh my god, I am never going to watch all of the movies that I want to watch because there's so many and I'm just like, oh, I gotta watch that one. Oh shit, I wanted to see that one. Oh shit, I just don't have time. You know, it sucks. It sucks.
Zach's getting carpal tunnel syndrome.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Zach. We didn't know that you were gonna have to be like working tonight and shit. Sorry about that. Yeah. So, no need for me too says, nice, thanks, Zachary. Don't think I'd be that quick on the draw. Okay, wait. Jenny used to call me a troll until I identified. I didn't call you a troll. I kept calling you. What did I keep calling him? I called you a stalker.
Who?
Gramthars.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, because you seemed to know all this stuff about Tom, but you wouldn't like say who you were.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And like, remember, because Tom kept trying to guess like who you were, and you were like, no, and you were like being all mysterious. So I was teasing Tom that I was like, oh, you have a stalker. So that's kind of why. So I was calling you a stalker. I didn't call you a troll. That's a completely different thing. That's a completely different thing. Yeah. How much like more drink do I have? Okay. So what else are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about some shit. Because, you know, I think if I wanted to kill someone, I would use a small crossbow or handheld modified slingshot with a deer arrow. Well, where did that come from? Oh, because target practice. All right. Zach says, I like how he gets angrier as I do it. This is giving me life. See, it's free entertainment. Thank you, no need for me too. The Zachary Thanks Fund. Well, I mean, like I said, if people just don't have anything better, I don't know. It's so like pitiful. It's pitiful. I don't get it. Sandra says Gramthars was a bit creepy in the beginning, but now he's cool. Yeah. I didn't see him as creepy. I was just kind of like, I figured that it was somebody Tom knew because he seemed to know all this information, and Tom was getting a little bit paranoid because he's like, who is this person? And it's like he was trying to guess who it was. And
I thought it was an old girlfriend.
And he guessed who it was, and I was ooh, you have like a bunny boiler on your hand. I thought it was a bunny boiler. She's gonna turn up. Yeah, we've had
it was somebody I went to high school with.
Experience with a couple of those.
I thought it was somebody I burned in high school. Some chick.
And she's like coming back all these years later for revenge.
About you.
I was other than my friends in high school, like I remember them because I still like know them on Facebook and stuff. But it's like other than that, I don't think I remember a single person that I went to high school with. It's just kind of like, and it's funny, I don't know why I was thinking about this, but I was thinking about this the other day because I feel like people, maybe it was because we were talking to the kids, and the kids are not Aaliyah and Nick, if you guys don't know, because they haven't been out of high school that long. And I think they didn't say anything like this, but I was kind of thinking about how people that age, or when you're in high school, it seems like it's the be-all, end-all. It seems like it's so fucking important. Like, everything that happens there is so fucking important. And then, like, literally 5 or 10 years later, I couldn't remember the names of a single fucking person. Other than, like, friends that I knew. I couldn't remember anybody else. I couldn't really remember anything about it.
I remember a lot of it because I pretty much had a great time.
Well, I had a great time. I had an okay time, but it's like it wasn't... I mean, it really didn't affect much of anything.
I went to 2 different high schools, fucking one in Michigan and one in Brazil. I was jumping between the 2. I was just having a fucking great time. I had a great time in both places.
Well, yeah. Yeah, but I'm just saying that even though, like, I hated junior high. High school I liked, but, you know, I had a pretty good time in high school. But other than, like I said, like, the few friends that I hung out with and that I still know nowadays, I don't really remember much of anything about it. It's, like, really not, you know.
I had, like, two different extremes. Trenton, Michigan, that high school there, fucking Trenton High, was kind of like going to fucking Hilldale out of fucking Back to the Future. It was like that kind of. You know how fucking Marty McFly's fucking house where he came from was like that. It's just like 100% all American. Everybody's dad was working in fucking some kind of car industry. You know, that's what it seemed like. Just like all American. Gramthars will tell you. It was just like upper middle class, fucking America. It's like that. And then I'd go to Brazil, and it was like going into a Duran Duran video. All right, of nothing but
Her name is
yeah. It was nothing but just fucking Sao Paulo nightlife, club life, and you're a teenager. You can go to clubs and you can drink.
Got your fucking white suit on, like fucking Don fucking Johnson.
Yeah, and it was fucking 80s.
Running down the beach in your bare feet.
Yeah. And you have a lot of money compared to everybody else.
Hot chicks with their high-cut bikinis.
Yeah.
Their bikinis like cut way up there.
Brazilian girls of fucking all ages were fucking, you know, just off the chain. From high school girls on up, and just it was amazing. It was great. And you know, I went to a fucking international high school. It had people from all around the world, and the Brazilians that went there were all the damn children of fucking the ruling class and the political class. So you go, yeah, the country's fucked up because his dad's an asshole. You know what I mean? Shit like that. The Malufis were there.
You were a little privileged motherfucker.
Not compared to them.
Well, no, not compared, but compared to me, you were.
Yeah. Yeah, but it didn't seem that way.
I lived in a little bitty 2-bedroom apartment down the street from my high school with my dad and my brother.
No. When I was in South America, I was living in a Duran Duran video. Yeah.
Mr. Roboto says, so Jenny, you were not the prom queen then. Fuck no.
I was the prom king. I got pictures to prove it.
I did go to the prom, like with, we just went with a big group of friends, but we ditched about halfway in to go to Rocky Horror. Yeah. So, you know.
Right. No, I was...
that's what that action was all about. We were just like, this is lame, let's go.
I was not, if I could, Gramthars will tell you, I was not an alpha Chad. I was more like a Sigma. I was fucking hanging out with the fucking guys that had bands, and we were in the theater and shit, and I was hanging out with the punk rock girls. But when I was in Brazil, it was just perfect, you know, to fucking be who I was. It was fucking great. I fucking had a great time. And everything just fit right in. I was a Sigma Chad. I was not an Alpha Chad.
Yeah, you weren't like, you're not like a jock. No. But you're kind of like, you were kind of one of those like all around motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Where it's just kind of like.
It wasn't obvious to everybody else what I was doing, I guess. It was.
Maybe.
You know, I'm not a big dude, and I was not big back then. I was kind of a Michael J. Fox type, you know, in build and size. And, you know, I was just made friends with people. You know, yeah, sure, there's people that didn't like me, but that's with everybody. You had haters
everybody has that.
You had haters.
But yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you're outgoing, you're funny, you're smart.
I mostly didn't give a shit. I was just having fun. Yeah. And and trying to make people laugh and make myself laugh. That's mostly what I was doing.
Zach says, do either of you feel like you really didn't learn anything after you got out of high school? Honestly, I liked school because I'm a geek. So I was like excited. I particularly liked English classes, you know, art history, all that kind of stuff. But I liked math and shit too. And I did learn a lot in school, but I think I learned more after because I like more self-directed kind of learning. You know what I mean? Which in a way, I think when I was younger, you know, they put me on like the gifted track or whatever. So you could kind of do your own shit more than if you were in the regular. So that was good. But once I got out, I mean, I don't know. I think I learned a lot after I got out too. Because I'm not one of those people it's like, oh, I'm never reading a book ever again. Or I'm really learned. Because I knew some people like that. And I just thought those people were lame. But yeah, I'll like fucking... Yeah, Mr. Roboto saying, Tom, were you a jock or ROTC?
No, I was in ROTC. I was in a military academy before I went to Trenton or that high school in Brazil. So I didn't really have any. There was no access to ROTC. At that time I wouldn't have given a shit about it.
Yeah. Zach says, "Oh, Jenny, you have a nice singing voice. Thank you." I was actually in chorus I was in chorus in all of elementary school and in all of high school also.
Gramthars said something up there. Says said I was well liked.
Yeah. Well, I can see that. I can see that. Well, you still are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I can't really think of that many people. Actually, I can't really think of anybody that doesn't like you, or people like that who aren't scumbags themselves.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if scumbags.
What does Tom think about ashwagandha or testosterone? I don't know what ashwagandha is.
I've heard of that, but I can't think of what it is right now.
And I don't know how ashwagandha would be for testosterone. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, they're talking about like reunions. And yeah, DJ Maniac says, I didn't even go to mine because fuck those people. I've never been to one. I mean, like I said, I liked, I hung out with some people in my high school, and like I liked some of the people in high school, but not enough of them. And it's like the ones that I liked, I still, see them on Facebook and still kind of keep up with them. So everybody else I didn't really care about.
Yeah. No, but Camp Guy, it's a natural supplement that's supposed to elevate testosterone. Okay. There's a lot of stuff out there that's sold for as a means to elevate testosterone, like testosterone boosters. And if you really want like a detailed explanation for all that, you want to go on YouTube and look for Derek. His channel is called More Plates, More Dates. He's a young guy, young fucking geek. Nerd.
Every time you say that, I think of
more dates.
I think of dudes like plate spinning. Like I know that's not what it is.
Yeah, so the weights and then the dates.
I know that's not what it is, but that's the first thing my brain gets.
And dates.
I think of like
he might have a double meaning.
Like
it might be getting dates with girls, or it might be dates that you're making during your progress. It might be something like that. I don't know.
Well, that's what I thought.
It doesn't really matter. But he can give you a blow by blow on each one of them and what the results are in blood work. Because he doesn't just talk out of his ass. He'll show you medical journals and then show you what blood results are, and he'll read right out of fucking scientific papers from the medical industry. I mean, the dude sounds like a doctor. He's not. He's totally self-trained. He's an intelligent guy, and that's his hobby, is to know about what all these drugs do. He takes them, too. He'll tell you, I took this one, I took that one. He's very open about whatever he did. He's big. Got fucking shoulders like damn bowling balls. His whole thing was to get fucking big, but he didn't want to lose his hair. So he's also getting all this shit about steroid protocols to keep you from losing your hair, because you start jacking up that much ananabolics, all your hair fall out. So he's trying to do two things at once that aren't supposed to happen, but he did a good job. That T-boosting type shit in general, is full of shit. Yeah, it'll boost your testosterone a bit, but not enough to make a difference. Not enough to justify the prices that they're asking for. And we're talking about very slightly. If you can't get it up, If you can't get your numbers up there,
that's a totally different thing.
No, it's actually,
well, I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
If you can't get your total testosterone numbers up just through sleep and diet and exercise, then there's a problem. Taking those T boosters is not going to make a difference. Might go up a couple points, but that won't be enough. In general,
not enough.
It's not enough. Won't end up enough to make a difference. In general, you got to find out what the problem is. Is it age? Is that what the problem is? Did you take something that suppressed your testosterone? Did you take something like SARMs? Were you fucking around with any other anabolics, or that could shut your nuts down? If so, you want to look at Clomid or HCG.
Shut down those nuts.
Yeah. Shut them right off. Fucking, and then your testosterone will be real low. You want to get your hands on something like Clomid or HCG, which are actually made for females. They're fertility drugs, but they work by stimulating the pituitary gland. If you take those, you can stimulate your pituitary gland to send messages to your nuts and your other endocrine systems to start producing hormones, and that'll do it. I didn't tell anything on the show, but before I went to fucking, and I went right now. See, that's my fucking doctor. See, what's that say? T Clinics.
Oh, I didn't know you got that.
Yeah, he gave it to me. He gave it to me when I went to go get my blood results.
Oh, you had your appointment on Monday.
I had my blood results.
You didn't tell me you got a free T-shirt.
Yeah, give me a T-shirt. He goes, here, man, here's a shirt. He goes, wear that. I was like, yeah, right.
Free advertising, bitch.
Yeah, free, wear that. So, hypogonadism, which is fucking, that means you're not making enough testosterone. I think it's around 250. All right. Top of the line, fucking natural free testosterone, probably around 650. Or that's average, probably. Top of the line dude in his teens who's fucking kicking ass, it might be 1400, 1600, 1200, around there. But he's not producing that much very often. It's just going to come and go. And certainly, when he sleeps, he'll probably produce that, but only for a few hours, and it'll slowly kind of trail off. And when I went to first get blood work done, before I started any of the therapies, my total test was only 160. That's fucking terrible. I was feeling bad. Jenny says, Jenny, I feel like I'm going to die. I knew that's what it was, because that's what I knew what the symptoms were.
Yeah, he was having all kind of problems.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm going to fucking die. Now, it might have been from fucking around with SARMs. Might have been a bunch of shit. Anyway, they put you on HCG and they put you on testosterone. After 4 months, they tell you to come off of all that shit. And they want to get a baseline to see what your natural test is. I'm at 950. That's fucking badass. That's my natural test, 950. That's good, real good.
Fuck yeah.
That's real good. All right, and that was that HCG, the pituitary gland stimulant, did that. Turned all that shit back on. Yeah. And then when I put test on top of that, I'm probably running 1,400, 1,600, maybe 1,200. Probably depends on how close it was to that injection. And it's all the time, 24/7, whether you're drinking or didn't get much sleep, it doesn't matter. It's all artificial. So I'm not bullshit when I tell you I have the testosterone of like 6, maybe, no, I probably have the testosterone of like 2 or 3 16-year-old boys. It runs hard. I'm fucking constantly hot, sticky, smell bad.
Yeah. I was gonna,
gotta wash the sheets all the time, just everything gets all sticky.
I know, it was like skunk ape.
Yeah, like skunk
Well,
ape.
he was kind of like skunk ape before.
Yeah, it's worse now.
Like worse now.
You're just constantly fucking sweating out fucking grease and just trimming up.
Boys are gross.
Yeah. Fat all just burning off you.
Sandra says, Jenny, do you still take testosterone? Do you feel anything? Not really yet. I'm still taking it, but...
Yeah, you have to understand that a woman's system is not like a man's. It's very different.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Actually, every woman could tell a man that.
Yeah, it's not like...
You know.
Testosterone in a woman doesn't do exactly the same things it does in a man. They didn't go through...
I don't really feel any different.
They don't go through male puberty, so they're not androgenized for it. They have it, but it's 10 times less than men. There's some disagreement about what replacement level is and then what benefit level is. You know, replacement, pretty much, we know that that's about 20 milligrams a week. But some doctors say that you want benefits, that might be 40 to 60. When you start pushing 150, 200, sometimes 100 a week, over a period of a few months, like a year or so, that she will androgenize to that and become a man. I mean,
yeah,
hair,
you can't
everything.
like do to. Yeah, I don't want to start like growing a fucking beard or nothing.
Right.
Jeez.
So you have to find. The doctors all agree that you have to know what replacement is. You have to find benefit, which that might be 40 milligrams, that might be 60. It's trial and error. It's when you start seeing results. But you don't want to go up there and start giving 100 or 150 or 200. You see the signs coming, you can back off. You know, like hair starts growing, they start getting too lean, voice starts to change, acne, things like that. That'll all come first. If you see that, you want to back off. It's too much. But they just, it's very new technology. The only women that are pretty much doing it are postmenopausal women, and they're taking very small amounts. That's one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum are young women who are in the gym. They're very active, and they're taking a pretty good amount. They don't turn into men. They look great. I think I've showed pictures before of what they look like. You get lean and muscular, but it looks like a woman, you know. People think that women are all estrogen. No. Women are pretty much all testosterone. It's just that it's much less than a man. What gives a female femininity is not estrogen, it's testosterone. It's a lot lower levels of it. Estrogen levels have a lot to do with pregnancy. It causes you to retain a lot of water. You get fat. A highly estrogenized woman, in general, you can kind of tell who they are. You can tell how strong their puberty was by how much weight they put on the lower end, the bottom end. Like, they got big asses, big legs. She's pretty highly estrogenized. If a woman puts on weight around the midsection, even when she's young, she's not quite as estrogenized. If she's very thin, that's kind of seems to be that they're kind of high in testosterone. Well, in comparison, everything's all in a different scale. Nowhere near what a man would be. But
Mr. Roboto says Jenny would have the sexiest beard. Oh my god. Okay, so you got maybe for Halloween. Oh, I should get a beard. I want like the old school fucking Victorian, like kind of Van Dyke type of beard with like that mustache with like twirly kind of shit. Ooh. Yeah. Now I'm gonna get that for Halloween. I think I would look good like that.
Yeah.
It might be good.
And she says she can't feel any difference, which probably not. I believe that. But I see some differences in her.
Why? Because you think I'm like saltier?
You're a little bit more aggressive. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm always kind of like that.
No, though. before you were a little.
That's because I was keeping my mouth shut.
Yeah, but you don't anymore. But you don't anymore. Yeah. But you know what I mean. It all started from around there. But you know, I read up on all this, so I already knew that would happen. They said that females that are higher in testosterone are combative, but it's not bad. You know what I mean? Because it's just like guys. Guys are combative, but they just don't take it as personally.
I don't think I'm combative.
No, not yet. But if I were to increase that dosages, if you were to increase those dosages, you'd become more combative. Then I might just like
pop you in the face.
No, you wouldn't do that. You just talk more shit. You become more dominant, and you're more dominant than you were.
That's good though.
Yeah.
I think I need that.
Yeah.
Well, because I kind of feel like I'm kind of one of those people that even if I don't say anything like mean about people to their face,
you're afraid
I'm thinking it.
Yeah, I know.
Well, because I don't want to hurt people's feelings. Yeah. 2, I don't want people not like disliking me. Yeah, I've always had that problem my whole life.
Testosterone will solve that problem.
So it's kind of like, give a shit. So now I'm gonna get busted in the mouth like by somebody because I'm gonna say something smart. No. Because like I said, like people piss me off all the time, right. But it's like I'm usually like, okay, like just chill, don't say it. Well, because one, I'm a nice person. And like I said, I don't want to hurt other people's feelings. But also, because my dad was one of those people that would just be kind of like, fuck you, man, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And he would just be like, and I just like, well, I don't really want to be like that.
Right.
Because it was like really over the top. So I didn't really want to be like that. And then, so I kind of got into this weird place where it's like, I'm thinking really shitty stuff about people, but it's like, I don't want to say anything to their face.
The idea is not to take you outside of the female range. It's to move you into the higher echelons of the female range. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And that higher levels of aggression will be in the female range. It won't be in the male range. It'll be in the female range. There are women that are like that. Lots of them.
But I told him this the other day. I'm like, let's not get to a point where if I get mad at you about something, you don't just go, oh, it's the testosterone talking and just like ignore. Because I'm like, maybe you really did do something fucked up and I have a right to be mad at you.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're misinterpreting the way it would work, though.
No, I'm just saying that, like, let's not... I don't want that to happen. I'm just putting that out there.
Testosterone doesn't make you see things that aren't there.
Well, I never said it did. I'm just saying
that's what you're saying. You're saying that, oh, it's just the testosterone. This is not a mind-altering drug like you've been drinking. No,
that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
What it does is it lowers it lowers the, I guess you say, the threshold of inhibition. In other words, you will say what you're thinking instead of fucking censoring yourself.
Uh-oh.
But it's within that's healthy, though. That's healthy, though. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
No one wants to know what I'm thinking, seriously.
Well, it's about honesty, you know what I mean? Honesty is a virtue.
Not always.
Why not? What are you hiding?
Well, I'm not hiding anything. Okay. I'm just saying. Sandra said, I always thought Jenny's a pretty nice girl until I heard the story about how she pushed the girl in the club. Yeah, but you have to understand that I had put up with this girl's bullshit for how long? About a long time. Like a year at that point, and had done nothing. Yeah. I was just kind of like, okay, I'm going to be the better person. I really can't stand this bitch, but, you know, I'm just going to, like,
You took her man.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, like, not... Like, I put up with a lot from her, okay? So just, like, finally, I'd had, like, so many drinks, and she just did, like, that one thing. It was just that one thing, and it, like, the straw that broke the camel's back, and I'm just like, look, okay, I'm done. That's it. So I got to a point where I was just kind of like, bitch, I'm just gonna... I probably would have... I don't think I would have killed her.
No. You would have beat her ass.
But I probably would have just... I would have punched her in the face, for sure.
It'd have been funny.
It would have been funny. It would have been funny. But I was, like, coherent enough to be thinking, because I wasn't drunk. I was, like, tipsy. Yeah. But I was just kind of like, I was pissed because she just kind of, like, did that whole, oh, sorry, I bumped into you. But, like, really obviously did it on purpose. And I was just kind of like, fucking hell. Because
she's in Germany now. She's in Germany.
She'd been doing that for, like, so long.
Yeah, you better watch out, Sandra. She's in Germany now.
That's right. Like, her...
She hooked up with a German guy.
Yeah. Because, like I said, because no one in the U.S. would put up with her bullshit. That's the joke I always made. I don't, like, you know, as much as I say, like, I don't hate a lot of people. I don't. But some people just, like, rub me the wrong way. And, like, ever since the first time I met this girl, she really, really rubbed me the wrong way. Yeah, and there was just, like, nothing that she could do that would make me...
Last time I saw her, I asked her, so how's Germany? She goes, oh, I like Germany. But the Germans are assholes. So they are? She goes, yeah, they're assholes.
And I'm like, but you're an asshole, though.
Yeah, as soon as they hear you're from America, they start treating you like shit.
I'm like, maybe that's just you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because she's kind of a douche.
Yeah.
But I don't know if she's aware of it, though.
No, she's crazy.
She doesn't seem to be aware of, like, of what a douche she was or how she came across to people. Because I talked to other people about it, and even people that, like, worked at the club. Like, I'm not naming any names. And it's like, you know, they would immediately look, if I say, oh, this bitch is doing this, they would go, oh, is it this? Or I'm like, yeah, how'd you know? And they're just like, oh, yeah, that bitch.
Yeah, it's her, yeah.
Everybody knew. Like, she had a reputation of just being, but I don't think she was aware of it. So it's like, which in a way is kind of sad because she didn't know that everyone just thought she was annoying as shit. But, you know, that was that whole thing. So I'm not going to say what her name was or nothing like that, but yeah, there was there was a little bit of a, would I call it a stalker situation? It was a little bit like a stalkery situation. Yeah. Because did we tell that story? This was like years and years and years ago. Years and years ago. And I think it was even before we were like officially, but we were like, would go out together all the time. Yeah. You know, and drive friends and whatnot. And then sometimes like he'd sleep over at my apartment or I'd sleep over at his house or whatever because it was closer. And so this one night I was going to sleep at his house. Like all my shit was already there. And we were driving another friend home. And then she kept calling him. And we were like, I remember we were like in the drive-thru like at fucking McDonald's or Taco Bell or whatever. And she kept like calling. And she said to you, I'm coming to your house right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you told you, she's like, no, Jenny's staying at my house. Yeah. And she was like wigging out. And I told you, and I remember telling you this. I said, if this bitch is in your bushes when we get back to your house, I'm just going to be like, I said, do I have your permission to like at least beat her ass?
She couldn't believe I was going out with you.
I know.
She couldn't believe it.
Because I'm so lame.
Yeah, in her mind. She thought that was a huge insult. Oscar said that Derek is a huge mother. I think he's talking about Derek from Dates from More Plates, More Dates.
Somebody asked earlier.
Is that who you're talking about, Derek?
Yeah. Somebody asked earlier, if you have a small dick, does it matter? Like, if you're, like, super big, like, will it get you more dates, like, being, like, super muscular?
No.
If you have, like, a super small dick.
I don't think
so. Well, honestly, if you have a super small dick, and like I said, I'm not hating, because I know some people just have it, and there's, like, not a lot you can do about it.
Yeah.
So basically, I would recommend just, like, cultivating other things, because, you know, everybody has shit that's fucked up about them. Like, everybody. Nobody's perfect. So you just gotta, like, put your energy into other stuff. And honestly, I kind of feel like women are pretty forgiving of that kind of shit if you have, like, a bunch of other stuff to offer. I mean, I was never super bothered by... I don't know.
I think it depends on who you are as a guy and how high you're shooting. I've known guys that fucking had that problem and fucking they were fucking fucked up. Yeah. You know one of them.
Yeah.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so it's like I said,
that dude and he works out. But that dude likes real hot women that look fucking gorgeous and shit. He's big into that. No, women like that women that are hot, the hotter they are, the more they have their pick and choose, the more they can pick and choose through guys. And the more predatory they are too. I mean, you know, it's something, you know, I've only been with good looking women, you know, and you got to watch them. You know, the better looking they are, the more you got to watch them. The better looking they are, the more predatory they are, especially when they're young. All right. And no, there's a lot of women over there fucking, and he told you they'll sleep with them once and they won't come back. They're like,
well, because like I said, at that age, when they're younger and they're like super hot, they know that they can pick and choose.
They're picking and choosing, yep.
You know?
They want a dude who's looks good, young, fun, rich, big dick, good shape, got a lot of drugs, got a lot of money. All the shit that doesn't happen in one dude, they want all that at once. They usually doesn't all happen in one dude.
But that's like that's
in their mind.
Well, and not all young women, obviously, but some like super hot young women tend to be like that.
Tend to be like that.
Not all of them, because I knew some that weren't, but
not all. But the ones that give off that gold digger vibe are like that.
Yeah.
And you know.
Problem being, I kind of feel like that dudes that...
There are dudes that are just like that.
Well, there are, but it's like, I do kind of feel like that all the dudes want those, like, 0.01% of women.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're not going to get that.
Right.
So, because there's, like I said, they can pick whoever they want.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, and that's like a small percentage anyway.
Yeah.
So you're really kind of setting your up. And, you know, that's kind of when you talk about those retards like fucking, you know, Elliot Rodger and shit like that. Yeah. Where it's just kind of like, oh, well, this super hot girl who can pick anybody doesn't like me specifically, so all women suck.
Yeah.
And then they just start shooting people up, which is stupid as... I mean, just
well, that's not exactly how it happens, but...
No, but I'm just saying that's kind of like what their thought process is sort of like.
Right.
Like, you think because these super hot women don't notice you or you don't... Like, I did this and that. Like, what else do you want from me?
Think that they deserve these fucking
right, and that's a big, that's a very dangerous thing to think. No one deserves anything.
Yeah, they think they deserve these hot-ass women. And you look at the dude, and he's fucking way overweight, doesn't have a badass job, doesn't really have a pot to piss in, doesn't really have a good personality, he's not even funny. So why does he deserve this woman? You know what I mean? Why should he get this fucking top echelon woman? Should a bum with pissy ass piss pants and shit, and
pissy ass
piss pants, and a bottle of Mad Dog 2020, should he be getting that fine piece of ass?
Is he going to give me a sip from the Mad Dog 2020? Because maybe I'll think about it.
You know what? You know, so no.
I'm just kidding.
When it comes to those available women, available fucking hot women, 90% of them are chasing out of the fucking top 5% of those men. 90% of them are chasing 5%. They're not really looking at the mediocre guys. They're definitely not looking at the guys that don't really have anything about them. Because why do you stand out? Why would you stand out to that woman?
Well, that's the thing, and I think that, and it's not just men, like everybody.
Yeah,
you have to at least have something to offer. Like nobody... You know, everybody has different proclivities. Everybody has different interests.
Elliot Rodgers walking down the street, passing all these 40, 50, and 30-year-old female mud ducks. He didn't even notice them. They were up for him, but he didn't notice it.
Well, she had some even younger, like decent-looking women, probably, because he was an all-right-looking dude. So he had money.
His mind was altered by...
If his personality wasn't so repellent, maybe...
the problem with Elliot Rodgers, and that fucking troll had Elliot Rodgers in his screen name and shit.
Yeah,
and shit was funny.
That's why I thought of it.
The thing with Elliot Rodgers is that Elliot Rodgers was mentally ill. That's what it was. That wasn't a normal dude. Let me go ahead and fill these drinks.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing. I think that's kind of like what everybody... That's the thing. One, no one deserves anything or anybody. Like, don't think about things that way. And also, you know, what... I think it's more like you should think about what do you have, like, to offer other people. And it doesn't have to be... You don't have to have, like, $1 zillion. You don't have to have, like, a big dick. You don't have to have anything like that. But you just have to be... Are you fun to be around? Are you smart? Are you funny? It's like, you know... It's just... I don't know. There's, like, lots of things. And like I said, there's billions of people in the world. It's like... There's somebody out there that'll dig your particular shit, you know? There's probably several people out there that would dig your particular shit. So, I don't know. It took me like a really long time to learn that. An embarrassingly long time, to be honest with you. Probably until I was in my 30s. So, even though, like, I was married when I was younger, but I don't know. I still had a lot of issues. I still have issues, but... I'm a lot better than I used to be, but honestly, it took me until like my mid to late 30s until I figured out not everyone has to like you. You don't have to be, you know, the hottest chick in the room. You don't have to be this. You don't have to be that. It took me a long time to figure out not everybody has to like you. You know what I mean? I kind of felt like for a long time in my youth, if everybody doesn't like me, then I have failed. You know what I mean? And that's like a fucked up way to go about things. But I don't know where I got that idea from, but that messed up a lot of my youth, I have to say. So, just saying, like, please don't think that. Don't be afraid to be disliked, because it took me a really long time to learn that. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, they got. I don't know. I'll go on YouTube. They got this one guy. I forgot his name. His name's Vlad something or other, and he's got a little fucking animation of him, you know, he's like a little vampire, and what he'll do is, he's on YouTube, I forgot his name, maybe you guys could drop it in the comment section, but he'll upload interviews on the street or whatever of other people or he'll just steal some chick's video talking about the guy that she wants, or like shit, like her dating complaints about men, and he'll post it up and kind of dissect what she's saying and kind of lampoon what the woman's saying, you know. I don't call her woman, they're girls really from my point of view. They're talking about women in their 20s, you know. It's still of a girl.
They're still women. Girl, I kind of feel like girl is under 18.
Nowadays, it seems like the fucking at 25, 30, they're still kind of like, they're kind of behind in some ways. You know what I mean? I think internet, has kind of stunted some people's emotional growth compared to... When I growing up, okay, look, this is how fucking hardcore me growing up in Brazil...
Oh, he's doing a grandpa rant.
I'm on grandpa the fuck out of it. Growing up in Brazil, I'd go to the fucking club and run into fucking 16-year-old girls in there fucking turning tricks. That's how fucking advanced shit was. Because poverty, you grow up fast.
Well, they do that here too, but it's like it's not really something to be celebrated, though.
No,
it's like it's desperation.
What it is it's a much harder life. Okay. Yeah. So they were forced to grow up quickly, you know, because they got bills to pay, you know. So you know. But mostly what he's got on there is very kind of like pampered upper middle class girls. This is who he's talking about. He's a white guy, so that's what he's focusing on, it seems like. And those girls are pampered compared to a lot of, you know, to a lot of other people. But yeah, he'll pull the video apart and say, yeah, she's contradicting herself, and yeah, she's not making sense. But the thing is you got to understand that a lot of women that are that age, they really don't know what they want. They meet some guy, they like him, and they go with him. But before she met that guy, she'd say, so I will never go out with a guy who's under 5'10", or I would never go out with a guy. So I think
that's like unfair because it's two completely different situations. Yeah. If somebody had asked me when I was single, like, what are you looking for? Right. One, I don't fucking know.
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna like come up with some shit. I don't know. Like, no one's standing in front of me.
Right.
I'll know it when I see it.
When you see it.
I'll know it when I meet the person.
You just agreed with me. You just agreed.
Right. That's what I mean. So it's like a dumb thing.
Right. So he's up there fucking grandstanding. This is probably like a 22 or 23-year-old guy making this video.
Look at these women.
Look at these women. Look how
be
dumb
crazy.
They are. Look how dumb they are. See, we'll never
They don't even know what they want.
Yeah. Well, no. What his whole thing is, look, man, we're never gonna get laid. That's what he's saying.
I was like, maybe you're
never gonna get laid. They're trying, and
maybe stop being such a douche, and someone might.
And
give me some out of
I don't even want to get in the comment sections. I'll look in the comment sections what the other youngsters are saying in there, and I'm just like going, these dudes are set on novice. These motherfuckers are basic. Because you want to go in there and say, dude, you're overthinking this shit.
Well, they are big time. Like I said,
really overthinking this shit. Just go in the club, have a fucking good time. Don't focus on trying to get up this girl's skirts, man. Just go in there and fucking have fun and make fucking friends with people.
This is the number one problem.
Stop trying to get up these fucking women's skirts that way. That's not how you do it.
The dudes are goal-oriented.
Goal-oriented.
Women can smell that shit a mile away.
You don't go to a club to get laid.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That's all. It's like, I'm going to go to the club. I'm going to get laid. Like, don't have that mindset. Just
you won't get laid.
Yourself of that mindset. Yep. Because you come across as desperate and grasping and creepy, and you just, whether you realize it or not, that's how you're coming across. It's just like, go because you want to go, because you like to dance, because you like to have a good time, because you want to hang out with your friends. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just let it happen. Let it happen.
Is that Zach? Zach sending money.
Thank you, Zach. I agree with Tom. It feels like the net has kind of damaged how we communicate in person over the last decade. I think it's made us a lot more suspicious and untrusting of each other, too, and it kind of scares me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I guess, but I don't know. I was never big on, like...
Ginny's not big into the online culture right now either.
Well,
she works too much, and she doesn't really follow fucking, like, top YouTubers or
I do to an extent, but it's in my own kind of niche.
In the niche that she's
I'm real into like horror movies, like writers, movies, that type of shit. Goth shit. I'm all into that kind of stuff. Right. So I'm kind of up on that, but all this kind of like on like all these trolling and like all this kind of, I can't, like, that just gives me a headache.
Well, so a lot of this incel action and all this.
I read articles about that because I find that interesting because I don't like what the fuck is the matter with them even, but so I don't watch any of their channels because, like I said, I'd probably just like explode with rage. Yeah. And I don't need that for my blood pressure, Yeah.
Well, I hear that shit, and fucking to me, it's like, man, these dudes are losers. They're overthinking this shit. They're overthinking this shit, and it makes you wonder what they look like. Now, what you doing, Pokey?
Well, look at Pokey.
What's on?
What's the matter? Okay. She's like, pay attention to me.
See, unlike you fucking kids, I grew up in the old internet, the old school internet, back when Prodigy was out and shit.
I think a lot of the commenters that were old like we are.
Old internet. That was back where it was, where dudes would actually show what they looked like, and fucking and dudes, famous dudes that were on the internet in these fucking message groups and shit, were fucking super overweight in a fucking filthy basement with fucking all kinds of stacks of shit, and it's just only like a nerd was on a damn computer, And those old guys, and that's why I like the channel Wang on YouTube, because Wang fucking will talk about those old days of the 90s, of fucking big long internet dramas happening on some fucking IRC or something. The Flame Wars, a veteran of the Flame Wars of the 95 and shit.
The main 90s Flame Wars I remember was the Mike versus Joel Wars on the MST boards. I remember that. Which to me, again, seemed pointless because I'm like, they're both good. They're different. Because, I'm like diplomatic. And plus, I like both of them. It just depends on what mood you're in. But it's just, like, funny how fucking emotional people got about it. And I was just kind of like, I don't know. Even back then, I was kind of like, I think that we have more problems in the world, like, to worry about than this. And it's like, why are people getting so upset about this? And even now, I can't, like, Tom loves that shit. He loves, like, channels that are, like, all conflict and yelling and stuff. I call like all of the channels that he likes, I just call them collectively the yelling channel, even though they're all different. Because it just seems like there's always somebody shrieking. And it's like every time I go in there to put laundry away or something, I'm like, just please turn that down. But yeah, so he kind of likes like some like people like calling out other people and like making fun of other people. I can't watch shit like that. It's just, to me, it's annoying. I don't know. It's just annoying to me. And I'm just like, I don't really get why. Because I know that some, you know, and I know that we'd probably have like a lot more, like I'd probably make a lot more money online if my whole channel was just like shitting on other people. But it's just like, I'm not that kind of person. I don't like watching that kind of content. I know other people do, but it's not really my thing. I don't really like, I like watching content about shit I like, you know what I mean? It's like, I like watching people that are passionate about what they like, you know, if it was goth shit, or it's like, you know, I like people that are really into like movie analysis, or people that are really into like history and people like that, and they're really, really into it and are like really geeky about it. I like that kind of shit. I don't really like this kind of like, let's make fun of this stupid thing. I can't really watch that kind of stuff. It's just, I don't know if it's because I'm old or, I don't know. It's just not my personality. It's like, and so a lot of times, like I said, Tom loves that shit like that, and I don't like it. So it's just, I don't know, it just gets on my fucking nerves. Because we were talking about it one day, and he's just like, oh, well, he was telling me about this channel, that channel. They have this many subscribers. They have that many subscribers. And it's just kind of like, you know, yeah, I could probably make more money off of it, but I don't know. I just don't.
What you talking about?
I said that it seems like a lot of, not all of them, obviously, but a lot of kind of top YouTube channels are just people like shitting on other people or like making fun of other people.
Or you
and
fighting,
it's like, and it's like fighting. And I don't, it's just like, I don't like that. If I had to do that for a living, it would be just like having a shitty job for a living. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just, it's not my personality. I don't like it. And I was telling them, I said, if I'm going to watch content on YouTube, I like people that are really into shit. I don't really like watching people that are like, oh, let's shit on this stupid thing. I don't really, I don't know. It's just annoying and juvenile, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
I got a feeling that, YouTube is going to become uncool eventually. There's going to be new ones opening it up.
Well, everybody's going to TikTok and all that stuff.
It's too short, though. It's not good for our.
Well, I know that, thing. But I'm just saying that a lot of people are kind of over there.
I got a feeling that Odyssey's going to be really good. I like Odyssey. They're still building it, and they're building up a lot of shit on there. And it's going to be a little more underground. The problem is that if you buy a smart TV now, the fucking system that it's running will allow you very easily to get into YouTube. They want you on YouTube. It's got a big corporate backing, Google and shit. You know what I mean? But if you try to do Odyssey from there, you have to get an app, and then you can't find the app, or it won't let you download the app on your TV, or it will fucking stall out on you.
Well, so a lot of those new startup ones are kind of like not really that well, because they've kind of stolen their code from other ones, and they're not really that well integrated and all this other kind of stuff. They have to be kind of well established for it all to work, right?
Odyssey's new, but that's what I'm saying. It has a lot of money behind it. It's growing very rapidly.
Just Pepper says, "Are you watching the Yelling channel?" I got that from an episode of Mystery Science Theater. I'm pretty sure it was Touch of Satan. Because there was a scene where like the two old people were down watching TV, and it was just like, I don't remember what it was, but it was somebody who was yelling, and like Crow or Servo was just like, boy, I sure do love the Yelling channel. And I was just like, oh, that sounds like what Tom watches all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
So I call it the Yelling channel.
If those dudes aren't yelling.
Because every time I go in there, like put laundry away, I'm like, oh, he's watching the Yelling channel again.
If those dudes aren't yelling, then then it's not serious. You gotta fucking yell, man.
Do you?
Yeah.
You don't. Really.
Hell yeah. No, you never understand. I'm going to increase your dosage. And then yelling will make a lot more sense.
Please don't.
Okay.
Please don't. I don't.
You get excited, you're going to fucking yell about it.
I don't want to be like that, though.
You're going to put that NPR voice in. And today, we're going to talk about, are you people ready today? Today, we're going to have a show. The show is Tom and Jenny's show.
See, I like that.
I know.
It's relaxing.
Yeah.
Do you know what? You know what channel I've been getting for the last couple days for whatever reason? I don't know why, but the last couple days I've been binging. I've been subscribed to her for a long time, but I haven't like binged her videos. There's a girl named a woman named Jade the Libra, and she is just all about spooky shit, Halloween, all that kind of stuff. I first found her because she was doing a book review. I can't remember what book it was. And so I saw her on that. I'm like, oh man, she seems pretty cool. And then like she has all these fucking videos that are her going like shopping for Halloween decorations. Like she goes to all these stores like Michael's and stuff and like she films like all the Halloween decorations. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm all about this. And she is like stupid beautiful.
Yeah.
And she's just like, and she's so fucking funny. And it's like her voice is just like really relaxing. Also, I totally watched a 40-minute video of her dyeing her hair. She'd had it like bleached that was like that kind of ash gray white kind of color, and it was like really awesome looking. But she recently dyed it bright orange, and it looks fabulous. It looks fabulous. And she had like this 40-minute video of her like doing it, and it was just like really relaxing, like watching her just like dye her hair orange. And it looked like so cool at the end.
It's funny because I have a big thing that Sandra said. I have heard, but it's not there.
Well, maybe it's up here.
No, I don't think so. Unless the
What
orders,
are you looking at?
Look at what she said right here.
Wait, I can't see it.
Mango wants to take a bath with Sleazy Bee. Jenny pushes girls in clubs, and Tom talked about, of course, testosterone. But that's not in your thing. And then
I don't know.
And yeah, it missed that comment. And then right after that, she said, "and flat feet." And see, "and flat feet" is there.
Oh, okay.
See?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what's
that thing errors for some reason.
Well, sometimes
it drops sentences.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a glitch. Chill out.
Yeah. Well, I want to know this kind of thing.
You want to know this kind of thing?
This kind of thing. I don't know what Sam was talking about. We talk about flat feet. Of course we talk about flat feet. Somebody must be asking what would have been talking about.
Flat feet.
Yeah. Talked about testosterone. Talked about
pushing girls in clubs. I didn't just push her. I didn't just push her. I put my hand
you just
around
grabbed
her.
Yeah.
Throat. I put my hand around her throat like that and like put her over the because there's a dance floor and then there's like a raised dance floor that has like a rail around it so drunk ass people don't fall off. And I pushed her against that, and I like kind of strangled her like that. Like I wasn't gonna kill her, maybe.
Nah,
I might have. You pulled me off though.
It was funny. She didn't get mad.
Well, she did because then she went and reported it to Lee.
Yeah, and Lee went.
And then Lee went fuck off because he didn't like it. He doesn't like.
Nobody likes her.
Well, because as soon as like he's like, well, who did that? And she said, oh, it was Jenny, and he's just like, fuck get out of here.
Well, because they knew that she fucking gets in people's faces.
Well, yeah. So he's like, you probably had a couple.
These are grown women too. It was a while ago.
That was a long time.
It was a long time ago.
But like I said, I put up. Like I said,
you were in your late 30s, I think, weren't you?
Yeah, I put maybe early 40s. I put up with a lot from her though.
Yeah.
I mean, and I didn't do anything.
She's bullying you.
Yeah.
She's bullying you. Yeah.
But she was doing that like passive aggressive bullshit that I hate.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, and finally, like that night, I was like, you know what? Fuck this. It's like, why am I putting up with this bullshit from this? Stupid bitch?
Roscoe says, does testosterone give him big arms? He's actually lift weights. I lift weights, bitch.
He's got a gym in the garage.
Got my own gym and everything. I lifted 2 years before I took the test. I've only been on test for 4 months, and the first couple months there, you really couldn't tell. I actually stopped working out the first couple months because I could feel it just fucking healing a bunch of shit because I was kind of worn down during that time. No, fucking bitches fucking laugh however you fucking want. This is fucking Florida, all right? Ponce de Leon was here. Look for the fountain of youth. And I fucking found it.
He thought he found it. It's in St. Augustine.
Yeah, there was St. Augustine.
There's a park there.
He thought he found it. I actually did found it. That was.
It's just sulfur water.
I did find it. It is exactly what he described. It's that fucking testosterone. Yeah. It fixes everything.
Dom the Bomb says, Jenny, who are you talking about? I don't want to say her name, but it's this bitch that used to hang out at the club. And she's gone now. She's moved to Europe. But she used to fuck with me all the time because she was after Tom for a long time. And there was like a weird, like I said, a
Jenny ready to fight for her man.
A quasi-stalker situation. Yeah, she just got on my fucking nerves, man.
Fight for her man.
Holy crap. Just knock it off with that shit. I'm too old for that.
Yeah.
Just be cool. If you can't be cool, get out of my fucking face. And it's just, and it's weird because I don't know why she was so insistent. Like, after a while, because I really don't like her and I don't want to, like, talk to her and stuff. It's like, you still talk to her, but... Yeah. After a while, you were like, why don't you be nice to her? Because I'm like, well, why should I? I'm like, I'm too old to, like, be nice to people that I don't have to be nice to. Well, like, she's not my fucking family. I don't give a shit. Yeah. So, one time, she brought her super annoying sister, who was almost as annoying as she was, and the sister is, like, coming and, like, getting in my face. My sister thinks you don't like her. I'm like, I don't fucking like her, and why are you in my face? Just, like, why? I don't understand. I'm too old to, like, have to put up with people that I don't want to put up with anymore. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was that kind of situation. So, I spent so many years not being an asshole, so I'm making up for lost time.
Sleazy B says that a lot of comments get automatically retracted because of what's in there. Certain, like, words are flagged. He says because his name is Sleazy, he thinks he gets his fucking shit.
I don't know. I see all your stuff, though.
Yeah. We're seeing it.
Yeah, I see everything. I mean, I don't know why sleeves would be banned. I've seen stuff where, I think the only thing, I don't know, like, because you can do, like, filters and shit. I think the only thing that's automatic is if you put a link in a comment, like, a lot of times it doesn't delete it, but it'll send it to spam, and then you have to look and say, oh, okay, this one's okay. They put it in, like, a little holding tank for you to look at. You know what I'm saying? If it's questionable. Because, you know, sometimes, like, somebody that we know has made, like, a comment, and it maybe had, like, a flagged word or something, but it doesn't delete it. It puts it in, hey, look at this situation. And then, like, if you look at it and it's fine, then you, like, just say, oh, yeah, that one's okay. Mr. Roboto says Tom is a catch. Yes, he is. You know, and there was a whole situation about that. Yeah. It was a whole situation. Thank you, David.
Tom's a catch. You may have to fight for him. She fought. She actually did fight for me.
I got so mad.
Yeah, she did.
I was so mad.
It's not only that. Like, there was other couple other girls she fought against. Kinda. One of them you resisted. You protested and protested.
Wait, who are we talking about? Well, just give.
Okay. That Disney princess.
Right.
You were like, she's gonna fuck you over. She's a piece of shit. And then I was thinking, yeah, I'm gonna get that pussy first though. And fucking.
Well, and then I got mad and just dated another dude.
Yeah. It didn't matter. We weren't dating each other at that time. We were just friends. But then, I fucking got sick of her ass.
Well, she kind of made the rounds.
Yeah. Well, everybody was sick of her by that time, though. She didn't last much longer after that. She started getting a bad reputation. Then all of a sudden, she wasn't too cool.
I haven't seen her in a long time. I don't know.
No, she got married.
Oh, okay.
Got married and moved away.
See, there's somebody for everybody.
Yeah. She married a fucking Chad. Like a full-on fucking...
Well, that doesn't
jock boy Chad.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And he knows nothing about her, probably.
I don't know, like, how... And I'm not slut-shaming. I don't slut-shame. Because, you know, we all went through that that phase.
I had fun.
But, you know, it's just kind of like...
Xanada says he can't chant on this fucking channel at all. Thank you, David. He's currently on the road. Y'all make for good traveling noise.
Oh, thank you. Man, look what names the troll earlier had. Yeah, I saw some of them, but like I said, Zach was like pretty quick on the draw, like deleting the comments. And I guess the poor little troll, sad little troll, got tired and like wandered off. He ran out. Sorry, 12-year-old. It's past his bedtime, I guess.
He ran out of fucking.
He couldn't think of any more like.
No, he had
offensive names.
No, he had all those accounts made up. He ran out of them.
It's like, how sad a person do you have to be to just be like, hey, I'm going to put the N-word in my title. I'm going to put like Elliot Rodgers' name. It's like, oh, everyone's so offended. It's like, no one's offended. Everyone just thinks you're a dumbass. Yeah. So, good job.
Actually, the troll might have been Google. You never can tell. They got robots that do that. They got robots that can pick up on keywords, and then Google can send, or an enemy computer in another country can send a troll to that channel and start doing that kind of stuff. And we mentioned we mentioned that Jewish guy from New York, remember? And then that appeared. That might have just been a robot.
Yeah, maybe.
You never can tell.
I don't know.
Well, if you look at... The thing is that YouTube has pretty good security against bot attacks. I think some of the bot attacks they sponsor... I know that they launch bot attacks against their competitors. Like, Google bot attacks BitChute constantly. All the BitChute comments have fucking robotic fucking comments underneath them with all a bunch of fucking racial slurs and this and that. And they're trying to make BitChute look real toxic to keep customers from YouTube to go over to BitChute. Because BitChute doesn't have any security. So every BitChute video has fucking real inflammatory comments, and it doesn't have anything to do with the topic of the video. It's just being spammed with it. And I've heard that it was, most people think it's Google doing it, but some of it could be other companies from other countries too.
I don't think I've ever, because we posted on BitChute for a while. I don't think I've ever got a single comment on any video over there, except maybe one or two, like years ago. But since then, I haven't got anything.
The live streams are all listened to. They're all monitored in real time by AI. It monitors the comment section, what's being written, and it monitors what people are saying. The robots don't understand, of course, but they're programmed to respond in certain ways depending on what the topic is. And it could be that they try to drive certain subjects off of their platform by doing that. Or, it may not be Google doing that. It might be an enemy computer from another service doing that. It's difficult to tell. There's all kinds of weird shit happening in the internet.
Yes, it says Skynet.
There's all kinds of weird shit that happens in the internet.
It's our robot overlords.
Yeah. They try. They want.
But it's nothing my ass can do about it. So
it's cyber war. It's a bunch of different factions fighting over the internet for weird reasons. I think most of it's businesses. Businesses trying to
be honest, and we talk about a bunch of crazy shit on this show. The drunker we get, the crazier the shit is, and I don't even remember half of it. But for all that, we really don't. We don't get that many abusive comments. Mm-mm. And
we're not that big.
Well, yeah,
that's why.
That's true. I mean, every now and then I'll get and it's usually like in an older video. I have to say, the oldies are the classics. The fucking shit about the fucking. What's her face? Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Ed and Lorraine Warren. Our #1 show.
I think that still gets the most hateful comments, but I get they're kind of sprinkled, but I don't really get that many. Because normally, like I said, if I get like a shitty comment, I'm just like whatever, and I just delete it.
You get real thick skin doing this.
But because I don't they don't know me.
Yeah.
So why I don't care.
And it always
and in a way it's kind of the only way it offends me. It's like, why the fuck do you think that I would care what you think about me? Because who the fuck are you?
What's funny is that it's the same statement over and over again. It's the same tactic over and over again, and it's like something a child does, and it's not new. It's the same thing over and over again, and you see it everywhere on all platforms.
Yeah.
It's not very creative. And I think a lot of it is not humans. I think a lot of it is robots.
Dude, I even see hate comments on like fucking adorable cat videos.
Yeah.
Which seriously, get the fuck out of here with that. Who dislikes that? I don't know.
Yeah. Like I said, there's no proof that those are humans. Some of those could be robots.
Sleazy B said, figured the Scientology video would get a lot of hate. I thought that too.
Yeah, no.
But honestly,
and Lorraine Warren.
Yeah, I don't really get... I can't remember the last time I got a hateful comment on one of the Scientology. And we've done it several. Yeah. We've done, because we did 2 or 3 with Angry Gay Pope, right?
And Lorraine Warren have a lot of Christian fundamentalist fans.
Yeah, and those people are kind of the worst.
Yeah, they do not, Christian fundamentalists do not want you pissing on certain sacred cows that they have. I kind of understand it, I came out of Christian schools. I know the thinking, but I can't understand the fundamentalist aspect of it. You know what I mean? About trying to adhere to something that is obviously not true. Certain aspects of things. Yeah,
because people will comment shit like, demons are real, and you guys don't know what you're talking about. I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Or that there were no dinosaurs, or that dinosaurs were only 5,000 years ago, and that the Earth is not
some creationist bullshit. Which don't even get me started on that, because that's Creationists are actually one of my least favorite types of people. Right. I mean, there's a lot of competition there, right. But creationists are right
also, up there. The Christian apocalypse following. I was big into that as a kid. All that Nostradamus stuff and the fucking merging Nostradamus in with the Book of Revelations and trying to tell the future and the end of the world and the Antichrist and the fucking the seven-headed beast. And here's the thing: if you're that fucking religious, if you're that Christian, you should know all about that book and understand exactly what that is.
They don't, though.
But they don't.
Atheists know it better than
atheists do know it better than. Because
every poll imaginable has shown that.
You have to understand that preachers have a vested interest in telling you a certain narrative that keeps you in the church and keeps you donating money. You have to go back to historians and people that really can read that in its original text and what world they're talking about. They're talking about the Roman world. And
it's fascinating.
Yeah.
And it's really sad because people that like think all that shit is real, it's almost kind of like they can't enjoy it for
what it is.
For what it is, which is a shame.
Yeah. And it's, well, Christians believe, but no, Christians do not believe that. All right. The Eastern Orthodox does not have the Book of Revelations. Their scholars knew that it was a false prophecy that did not happen. Rome did not fall to the Antichrist. Rome became the world's first Christian empire. So, of course, it's false. It's false. You know, there wasn't a war between the Antichrist and angels and demons and Rome.
It happened in another dimension, bro.
The Roman Empire wasn't destroyed. It converted. It converted to Christianity. Mm-hmm. So, that right there, it was not a true... The prophecy had failed. It was a cool prophecy, though. It had a lot of imagery. And in the day that it was written, it probably was not marketed. It was definitely not marketed as the Word of God. It was kind of like a dude warning about a possible future. And, you know, I guess you could say it was kind of like the Christian version of an Alex Jones saying they're coming and we're going to have to fight them. And once we fight them, we're going to win, and we're going to have a Christian kingdom on earth, and God's going to come down and make a city, and we're all going to live in it.
Well, like I said, humans don't change.
Yeah.
There are only so many, like, frameworks within, like, our storytelling goes. Yeah. So it's kind of like, I mean, that's why, like, across cultures, you see, like, the same themes, like, coming up again and again. And that's why, because, like I said, we only have so many modes.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean any of it's true, but... that doesn't make it any less fascinating, I don't think. Like, I'm really interested in, like, in that kind of shit.
Yeah. What Revelation gives you is a lot of visual and cultural imagery that you can use to describe something. If you know that culture, well, if you know those books. Like, for instance, when you say the word apocalyptic, that's the thing that comes to mind. The apocalypse, the revelation. The apocalypse means revelation. So, you know, the Greek title for the book of Revelation is Apocalypse. I'm going to show you something. That's all it means. And there's just the weird imagery, you know, a beast with 7 heads and all the horns and
that's some good drugs back then, maybe.
And it's just a picture, an encoded picture of the city of Rome and how many emperors had passed. The emperor that you have now, and then the emperor to come, and the dude's fucking laying out a badass fucking conspiracy theory. I guess you could say it's like the conspiracy theory of the day.
Well, yeah, it was like those Dan Brown novels, man, where it's like all like the Da Vinci Code and all that kind of shit. But it was like way back then.
Yeah. Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man.
That shit. Come on.
Yeah. And
they love that shit back then.
What the fuck is he talking about? What the hell is he talking about? Well, Roman would know exactly what you were talking about at that time.
And we talked about this. The thing about it is that a lot of the context, the cultural context has been lost.
Yeah.
We don't live back then. And we were talking about this because we did a movie retrospective on Carnival of Souls, which came out in 1962. And that'll be up Friday or Thursday if you're a patron. So we were just talking about, and this is just 1962. We're talking about how the cultural context of that movie has changed so much that there was one particular character where, like, we're really not sure, like, how you were supposed to perceive that dude. So imagine, like, extrapolating back thousands of years, and that's just, like, compounded, right? Because you're going back that far in history. You have no idea. Yes, humans are similar. Our brains are the same. We kind of go along the same tracks and whatever. But the culture back then was so different. And the whole context, the whole... What's the matter, Pokey?
Trying to get me to do something for it.
She keeps, like, jumping up in the chair. You know, the whole, you know, situation, the whole, like, you know, shit they would have understood is so different for them that it's really easy for us to read modern shit into shit from back then, and it's not the same. It's not the same. So, I don't know. But that kind of shit, like, interests me, though. And honestly, one of the best things I ever saw, I wish I could remember this. I think I've mentioned it before. One of the best things I ever saw on YouTube was this series, and shit, man, I can't remember. It was a long time ago. It was probably like 5 or 6 years ago that we watched it. But it was this whole series, and the dude was making an argument that a lot of the stuff that was in... But I don't remember if it was, like, just specifically Revelation or if it was, like, some other, like, biblical shit, too. But it was, like, all, like, astrology based, like, or, you know, based on, like, constellations and stuff. And it was just, like, it was really, really compelling. And I was just like, man, I can't believe, like, that's the first time I'm hearing about that. It was just, like, it was really, really good. It's really interesting.
I guess she doesn't want to go out. She just wants to pester.
Well, she just wants attention.
Wants attention, yeah.
Bring her up in the laps.
Come here, Pookie.
Let her be on the show. Everybody wants to see Pookie. Come on.
Come here, Pookie.
Come here, Pookie. Look, everybody wants to see you. Look, there's Pookie. Hi, sweet pea. Hey. She's like, yeah, here I am up on the laps, and let me get up.
Yeah,
I'm going to go play in the closet.
Book of Revelations had a lot of cool imagery in it and cool stuff, but it was just a prophecy that didn't happen. Although it was real interesting, it had a lot of numerology in it. There's a lot of symbolism that kind of eludes the modern person, but back then people would have known what you were talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because they were talking about memes, basically. Memes of the day. You know, for like all you Pepe motherfuckers, I see a frog before me, Egyptian and Keck. I mean, you know, you would know what that was. But 10,000 years ago, or 10,000 years from now, or 2,000 years from now, people would have no idea you're talking about a fucking frog and Keck and Chatelet and weird shit like that, like those people. But the early Christians were like that. They used their own terminology.
Well, that's what everyone does.
Right. And they were talking about the number of the beast is 666 or 603 score and six. There's another one that might have been 616, depending on which edition. But most people believe it's 666. And what you could do is if you were to... what are you doing, Poke?
She keeps like coming up and scratching the chair.
I don't remember which I don't remember if it was in Greek or... I think it was in Greek. If it's in Greek or in Latin, one of the two, each letter had a numerical value. So what it's saying is if you add up the numbers of the man's name, it adds up to 666.
Yeah, they were super into numerology.
They were big into that. And the numbers of things like 7, or not only 7, but 7-fold and 7, or 77-fold. That meant, oh, fuck, 77-fold. Oh, shit. You know. That's big, you know. Like, you know, let him not be avenged 7-fold, but 77-fold. Oh, hell yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Oh my God,
I'm not going to fuck you up 7 times, 77 times, man. To the 77th power.
I'm going to kick you in the balls.
Complete destruction.
77-fold times.
Complete. All right.
No one wants to hear that.
Right. But if you take the word Nero Caesar, Nero Caesar, Nero Caesar, or Caesar Nero, depending on what language, it'll add up to 666, which is the emperor that they seem to be talking about at the time of the writing. So they're saying that Nero is the Antichrist. He's an anti-Christian person trying to wipe out the Christians. He's trying to cancel us. This is cancel culture.
Well, like because they were talking about contemporary stuff that was going on.
The ancient world and ancient people were just like us. They just didn't have the same medium. But the thinking was very much the same.
Sure.
And they had a lot of the same cultural phenomenon going on at the time, especially in Rome. So, they're talking about Nero. All right. Yeah. They're saying Nero's just going to destroy the Christians. Now, who are the Christians they're talking about? They're talking about a very small cult in Rome. This is not a big
Which
cult.
To them, it must have seemed like that.
Yeah.
But they didn't have the benefit of 2,000 years of hindsight.
Yeah. So you're talking about this is a book written for a very small audience a long time ago. And there were lots of little small cults a long time ago. This just happens to be one that survived.
See, this is like the equivalent of if one of my books, which hardly anybody has read, 2,000 years from now, was like the only book that survived somehow.
She would be considered the greatest author of the American time.
And then that was like a Bible, and then people made a whole religion out of one of my stories, which would be super fucking weird. But it was like pretty much the same thing, though. I mean, pretty much the same thing.
Right, and from mostly what you can put together, and these are guys like Dr. Robert M. Price. We've had him on this show before, and I still listen to him, and they got a new one called the Christ Myth Podcast. It's a really good show.
Yeah, he's still around.
They're still around. He's on a much better show. He's on with a young guy who actually has all the technological skills to constantly stream him and have all these guys. I think it's called Myth Vision. And he's a real good young dude, and he's bringing together all these fucking great minds who are religious scholars and showcasing their work. It's the first time that has ever happened in human history. The internet is a powerful fucking research tool. You can get all these guys from around the world that have all these specialties and get them together in a scene and make progress. Back in the 1700s, it'd take 100 years to do the work that they've done.
You gotta do that shit with written letters.
Just written letters for this. It would take 100 years.
Yeah, go over by ship over the ocean and shit.
Now you can get the greatest minds together, and they can compare notes and put together what had happened. What the fuck are they talking about? And they pretty much figured it out. It can only be a couple of different things, depending on what the subject is. Like, what
is she doing?
What are you doing, Poke? You cannot dig through books. She's trying to dig. You can't dig through a book.
There might be something good on the other side of these, though.
That's not a door. Poke! That's right. And she runs like, oh, I didn't do it.
That's all right. She's pretending.
That's right.
She's going to come over.
Right.
Yeah, but pay attention.
Yeah, but do something. Yeah. I forgot where I was. I was just talking about how much progress they've made in a very short amount of time of just experts in this form of literature. Because it's literature.
Yeah.
Comparing notes and figuring out what story came from where and how old, what is older than what. You know what I mean? You have to put all this stuff together and find out where the source is. So, and how many original stories were there, and when was this?
See, I love that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And honestly, I kind of feel like I know there's like a segment of people that are just kind of like, well, and there's always a segment of people that are like this every generation that are like, oh, the sky is falling, the world is going to shit. It's like the internet's the worst thing ever, social media is the worst thing ever. But it's like I don't know. I feel like that's a really limiting, because to me, it seems like the internet has like opened up.
Oh, it's great. Great invention.
Holy shit, man. It's like I'm doing shit now that I really wanted to do like back in the 80s, but it's like I didn't even like imagine that there would ever be like a framework to do that.
It's a great technology. But with all great technologies, it can be used for evil.
Well, there's always going to be a downside. I mean, that's just kind of how shit goes. You just have to deal with it.
The main thing is to try to prevent big companies from taking over the internet or big governments. See, governments can't do it themselves. They'll get blamed. So they hire companies to do it in their name or do it for them. Like they're mercenary contractors. So you can trace it back to governments or ruling classes trying to control the narrative on the internet by channeling you down certain algorithmic fucking rabbit holes to get you to come to a conclusion that isn't true. You have to have a free internet, just like you need a free press. There's a lot of fucking shenanigans going on. And a lot of it coming out of Silicon Valley. And a lot of it coming out of China. China has its own version of Silicon Valley. Their Great Wall of China and all their fucking sensor algorithms. You need the old internet, kind of like the old internet of the 90s, where you could avoid bad shit, but you could find all the good shit you needed. You didn't have anybody fucking trying to brainwash you through fucking algorithms. I mean, they had that damn guy go before the Senate who knew all about it and knew all about this computer science and psychology. And he said, you can reprogram people to believe in things that are not true through this, just by channeling them down a certain direction and only showing them certain things, you know. And it's absolutely true. You have to have a free internet. If not, some motherfucker's going to try to dictate to you what reality is.
Well, and the thing is, the weird thing about it is that a lot of it is not even human controlled anymore, because it's all like an algorithm. Yeah. And it's not necessarily sinister, because what they're doing is they're trying to see, what is this person interested in? What are they buying? I'm going to show them more of that.
That's partly it. But also some of it is nefarious. Because
I'm not saying that. Yes, I'm just saying that
in there you can hire companies to fuck with your algorithms, to show you things, to push you down directions that aren't true. In other words, it's just another form of propaganda. You know, it's here. The thing is, though, is look, me and Jenny's generation are actually pretty resistant to propaganda.
I mean, it's
old school propaganda was very obvious. By the time the 80s had rolled around, they'd gotten a lot better. And 90s propaganda was fucking really slick, but I knew this shit was propaganda when I saw it. But I think people growing up, what do you call them? The people that are now in their 20s and their 30s are not quite as resistant to propaganda as we were.
Oh, I don't know about that. They might be more. But, because I kind of feel like, the thing about it, I kind of feel like, even though it sucked at the time, I'm kind of glad that I grew up poor, because growing up poor, you can't, in a lot of ways, you're resistant to people trying to sell you shit because you can't afford it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like people coming at you. It's like, hey, I have this that'll make your life better, and it's just cost $49.99. And it's like, I don't have that money. Right. So it's just kind of like you learn to tune all that shit out, because it's like, look, I can't afford that anyway, so fuck off.
Oracle Mom says, Gen Xers are protected by our cynicism. I absolutely agree. You are very cynical.
Yeah. And honestly, it's not like, I don't know. I kind of feel like we're kind of like the forgotten generation, I guess.
Yeah.
But in a way, though, the cynicism, it's bad in some ways because you're kind of like ready to like shit on everything. But in a way, it's good because you're kind of like,
cynicism isn't always shitting on
it's
something.
Not, well, no, but I'm just saying there's another side to it, which is good, because you're just kind of like, you don't believe anybody's shit on face value.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Every time something is presented to you, you must ask yourself the question, Qui bono? Who does this benefit?
Who benefits? Yeah.
Who benefits from this? And that usually unveils what this is. And that even includes news. Because news media, they curate their news. They're showing you the events that they want you to see for some reason or another. You have to ask yourself, who's benefiting from this? Well, usually the person who's benefiting from it is the one who's paid for it. That blew my mind back in fucking the early 2000s when I found out that Saudi oil potentates could buy positive press on CNN.
If you got money, you can buy anything you want.
That blew my fucking mind. CNN, that was James Earl Jones, at CNN. And we grew up, CNN was a 24-hour news channel, had a little ticker tape underneath there. They'd show you all this weird shit. I started to get real suspicious during that first Gulf War when those dudes were faking gas attacks and throwing their gas. And we'd be in the barracks watching that shit, laughing, going, man, they just faked a damn gas attack. And then you could see how they I don't know, you guys weren't there. It didn't. They were just trying to make new war footage every fucking day on CNN. And
well, like I said, they want like nowadays eyeballs. They want clicks.
They want clicks.
They want
money,
which leads to money. So anything that's going to lead to more people clicking on the shit whether it's outrage, whether it's drama, whether it's anything.
That was 1990.
That's what they're going to do. They are understanding.
Yeah.
Humans are not different than they were thousands of years ago. We love drama.
1991.
We love being outraged.
Yeah.
Shit's going to make you mad. Shit's going to do this. They totally know that. So that's why. But see, I know that they know that. So I don't click on anything like that because I don't care. I don't care.
This was 1991, and I remember them faking that they had survived a gas attack, the two news reporters. And you can find that shit on YouTube probably.
In a way, honestly, I think it's like really funny because sometimes if I'm reading an article and then like I'll see some like ad at the bottom like that, you know, people don't want you to know about this. I'm just like, yep, I don't want to know about it. Bye. Yeah. it's like so obvious.
But I saw that.
Like what they're trying to do.
I saw that, and I was a kid, and I was in the army at the time, and fucking, I was just like, man, they will fake a news fucking report. And that kind of was weird, but it kind of like ran off me like a fucking off the back with water running off a duck's back. I kind of forgot that they did that, and then a few years later. Turned out that CNN got caught, and this isn't the CNN of today. This is the CNN of the fucking early 2000s. This is during the second Gulf War. That Saudi prince have bought a whole bunch of positive PR on CNN. You could just pay them to write a good story about you. It didn't really. It's nothing nefarious.
I mean, do you know? Nefarious. Well, nowadays,
it was just an ad. Motherfucker had them report how good he was.
It's an infomercial,
like an infomercial,
sure.
and that fucking blew my mind. And
you can do that nowadays.
That's when I first started.
Go on if you have a YouTube channel that has over 10,000 subscribers, which ours does. You can go on sites like Grapevine. You can go on sites like that. And there's like there's companies that want you to make a video integrating like how much you love their shit, and they'll pay you like X amount of dollars, or they'll send you free shit or whatever. And it's like, you know, a lot of Instagram people, a lot of like TikTok people like make a living doing this kind of stuff because that's just I mean, you know, that's just the hustle, man. It's always been like that. Like I said, even back to like people bitch about it nowadays, but that's been going on since like forever. It's been going on like the early days of newspapers. Seriously, I read a couple books about, remember back in the old days when newspapers were like the main media, and you know, most big cities had several competing ones. Holy shit, if you like read about the stuff, if they couldn't get the scoop on the other paper, they would just like pull shit out their ass. They would just like make stuff up and print it, and the more salacious the better. So it's like, even back then, and this, I'm talking about Victorian era, even back then they knew what people's psychology was. Oh, this is gonna get, if it bleeds, it leads. Everybody knows that. Victor
goes, wait till you hear about yellow journalism. No, I know all about yellow journalism.
That's what I mean.
But so the thing is though, is that when I was going through school, they would teach you about yellow journalism, but then they would kind of like make you believe that was something from the past. They don't do that anymore. Oh, hell yeah, they do that shit. They're doing that shit fucking like crazy.
Well, like I said, because it works.
It works. And then...
it works.
And then Xanada says, yeah, remember when they had that girl, the ambassador's daughter, lie about the Iraqi soldiers taking the babies off the incubators? Yeah, I remember. I believed that at the time.
I did not.
I believed it. I fucking believed it. Yeah, I bet they did take them babies off those incubators. It was all a fucking lie to help get us in that damn war. Because so much money was changing hands behind the scenes.
Well, yeah, like I said, it's always money.
It's always fucking money.
Like you said, who benefits?
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, Gramthars now talking about the videos of the CNN reporters getting blown over by the fucking hurricane, and then people just walk behind them. Yeah. Or like
I've seen
or they're in the boat paddling. The flood has happened, and somebody just walks behind. It's ankle deep.
Well, in Florida, like I said, I grew up in Florida, so we're like inured to like the over the top hurricane coverage. Yeah. Honestly, I don't watch the hurricane coverage. If a hurricane's coming, I just want to say, look, where's the map? Yeah. I don't want to watch like they send some like poor schlub out there to like stand in the rain and like be like, yeah, this is it, and then like pretend that they're being blown away or whatever. It's just like I'm over that, but they still do it though. Yep. But they've been doing that since I was a kid.
My advice to y'all youngsters. At 52, my advice to y'all youngsters, they got a bunch of old bitches in there listening to me too, is don't believe anything those motherfuckers say.
Well, if it seems, I'm just saying, don't believe, don't believe anything. But if it seems way over the top, or if it seems like way worse or way better than you think like real life is,
it's a paid advertisement.
Then probably your instincts are correct. Yeah. I'm not saying that it's like you can't believe anything. I'm not saying that, but
some of the shit they show you, yeah, that happened. But then there's all the shit they won't show you too. They're curating what they want you to see. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So, there might be some shit they left out.
There's money involved of what they're going to show you. They're being hired to fucking sell a certain narrative.
Right, that's all it is. That's all. You just have to be aware of that. That's all. That's all. And like I said, I don't disbelieve everything I see because then you'd just be like a fucking nihilist and you wouldn't believe in anything. But I always feel like if anything is like,
right?
Yeah, if anything is like way more fucked up or way more dramatic or oh my god it's the end of the world, if anything is like over dramatic, I'm not buying that. That's one thing, because everybody wants people to click on your shit, so it's like, oh, we have to make this seem like the worst thing ever or the best thing ever. So if you're trying to make shit sound like the worst thing ever, the best thing ever, I'm not interested, because I know that you're trying to bullshit me. So Gramthars Hammer says, how come Google knows what I'm about to search for before I'm typing? That's because, one, they have algorithms that know what you like. Because, like I said, I'm usually searching for horror movies and true crime. So if I start typing something along those lines, it'll fill it in because they're like, oh, this is a horror and true crime person, so we're going to help. And usually they're correct. So, it's creepy, but whatever, it's helpful. Also, they're going by popularity of what everybody is searching for. Like I said, maybe it's like a little nefarious. It doesn't bother me all that much because I'm not like looking for anything bad. So in a way, it's kind of helpful that it's like I just put in a couple letters and it's like, oh, hey, they know I'm talking about that horror movie because I've searched for 1 million horror movies before. So that's cool. But, I'm not all that bothered by it. I don't know. I know people are, but I'm not all that bothered by it. Xanada says, yeah, you can turn off save search and predictive search. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not bothered by it because I'm not looking for, I'm not looking for anything that's like fucking, that would get me flagged on anything. Mostly the shit I'm searching for is usually like true crime cases, horror movies, that kind of crap. So the fact that Google knows that I search for those kind of things, so those are the first things that come up in the search, that does not bother me one bit, and it just makes my life easier, so I don't really care. I mean, I can see...
They're keeping fucking tabs on all of us, every one of us, but here's the thing, there's so much information about everybody is that
that's what I'm saying.
Nobody's looking at it.
I'm not really all that bothered.
What happens is if you ever did anything and they wanted to investigate you afterwards, they'd then pull up a fucking file... and they'd sell that shit to the fucking FBI. And they'd be able to put together a whole fucking profile.
Yeah, but like I said, I can't worry about it too much. I mean, there's billions of people in the world.
But when you look at how fucking shit's going, what the fuck are they gonna do? They can't even keep a fucking city safe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just really not worried about it. Like I said, I think people are too worried about them out there, like some big, like some small cabal of like... and they know everything and they can do everything. Like, look,
no, it's a bunch of factions.
Everything is just a bunch of dumbasses like me and him, who fuck up at their jobs and who's just like a bunch of regular ass humans.
I was telling that.
It's like, don't worry about it.
I was telling that to Xanada.
Don't worry about
Xanada
it.
the other day was worried about this and that and the FBI and they're doing this and all this.
There's no big like massive intelligence or anything. It's nothing like that.
Well, there is, but they can't do everything at once.
That's what I mean. It's a bunch of people, and they're idiots.
Yeah, they're idiots. Well,
so I'm not really worried about it.
If you've ever worked in that environment, when you're working at state or federal level or anything, having to do with law enforcement or military, it's a clusterfuck. It's a serious clusterfuck.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not man for man, dollar for dollar. They are not effective. Mostly what you hear these politicians say on the news is fucking bullshit. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Nobody does.
It's like theater. And most of the shit that they fucking say can never translate down to the ground. It never actually affects the ground.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't understand why people worry so much about it.
They're mostly saying this shit to their peers and to look good for the news cycle and to their political party that they're in for that day. You can't read in too much into it because they don't know what they're fucking saying. And they're making that shit up as they go along mostly.
Here's the thing. I kind of feel like maybe this is because I was brought up, you know, my mom, my grandpa, everybody like that. And, you know, like I said, I grew up in kind of quote-unquote gifted programs, whatever. My grandpa always taught me, look, if some other motherfucker learned to do something, you can learn to do it too. Most people are idiots. Don't worry about it. So it's kind of like, it's that kind of thing. I've worked in, like, corporate situations. I've worked in all that kind of stuff. Most people, if they're just doing their fucking job and they're going home, they're worried about their family just like you are. It's just like nobody, there's no super genius, there's no mastermind, there's no nothing like that.
It's not centralized enough either.
That's what I'm saying. Really, and it's like, that's why I'm not a big fan of like all these stupid conspiracy theories and all that kind of crap. It's like, look, you know, I'm a smart person. I consider myself a smart person. And it's like most people are as smart as me or maybe not as much. So it's kind of like I'm not really worried about, and honestly, you get 2 or 3 people in a room and they try to figure out how to do something and they're not going to agree on anything and it's just going to be like a big shit show. So I'm like, dude, I've worked on like projects where it was just me and one other person and we couldn't like agree on shit. Yeah. So no one has a big master plan for anything.
Well,
nobody.
It depends. No, not true. Fucking, there are all kinds of... Okay.
Well, even if they do, it's not going to work out the way they think it's going to work out. There you go.
No plan makes...
That's what I'm saying.
No plan makes contact with fucking reality.
That's what I'm saying.
But no, there are people that have fucking big master plans.
Well, sure, but that doesn't mean anything, though.
Just ask a Mexican drug cartel. All their shit is planned out. They know exactly how their business is running. Here's the thing. Don't give government agencies so much weight. They're not that competent. That's why...
Exactly.
Exactly. Let me finish what I'm saying. That's why they subcontract most of their work out to private security companies. And private corporations do a lot of the war, or they call it a war, a lot of the shit that was happening in Afghanistan wasn't really even being done by the U.S. military. It was being done by fucking private contractors, most of them little old ladies piloting drones. Which you don't think of that, but that's really what it is. They got private security companies that just filled with little old friendly old ladies here in the United States, flying drones around, blowing up fucking people.
Here, Grandma, go blow up this person.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And she goes, oh, well, that was a good one. Oh,
got him.
Got him. Okay, we got him. And they're like, yeah, so there was a lot of that shit that's going on.
That's what your grandma's doing,
right.
You guys.
And then, don't for one second think there's any of these 007 fucking James Bond fucking spies running around.
But they've
all been replaced.
That's fantasy.
Yeah, they have all those. There's no reason to have a guy like that because what he's doing can all be found on the internet through people's fucking little tracks that they left behind. All intelligence. We're in a totally different era. All intel about people and organizations can be just extracted through people's data fingerprints. So what you really have is AI programs and private companies that have the ability to go in there and find out where somebody is. They can do that. But there's no James Bonds and shit. I mean, they might send Delta down there to go get the guy once they find him. That's how they found bin Laden. But that's very high priority targets.
I mean, yeah, can I just say...
They're not going to... If you sitting in your fucking little trailer down in Arizona, okay, worried because you voted for Trump that they're going to come get you, they don't have time for you.
No one gives a shit about you.
No, they don't have time for you.
They don't.
It's too much money. There's too many. There's 10 million, at least 10 million people that did that. Fucking... They don't have the ability to do anything to you.
No one cares. I just kind of feel like people, and this is a very human thing. Everybody is the star of their own movie. I get that. But in the great scheme of things, there are billions of people on the earth. There are, 400 million people in the United States alone. If you're not doing any fucked up shit, like that's going to cost a lot of people a lot of money, no one gives a crap what you're doing,
all right,
honestly.
Gramthars, and me and him went to high school together, and we both know each other's background. He says, I have a federal... He goes, you read it. Gramthars says, I was a federal agent for years. He's going to tell you.
I was a Fed agent for years. Trust me when I say the government is too incompetent to maintain massive files on people. Exactly. Yep. No one cares unless, like I said, unless you were doing something super fucked up that is causing a lot of people to lose a lot of money.
You have to be a serious
one.
Nobody cares about you.
Nobody cares if you're growing pot in your backyard.
Nope.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. You don't have to be fucking paranoid. You don't. Nothing. No one's gonna find you. It's fine.
Most when you find out in the military, if you do military or government service, most of leadership qualities is a man or woman's ability to emanate leadership charisma, which is a feeling that you're in control. They're not really in control, really, but you can get a good feeling that person's in control. They're in charge. Everything's taken care of. It's the alpha dog feeling. The dog pack is fucking calm when the alpha dog is secure and the alpha dog's got it all under control.
Yeah, I got this.
He's under control. He's got everything's safe. But really, he's just got an office. He issues orders. Whether or not those orders are actually followed, if they actually make an impact, probably not. It's mostly feelings. And that's what you're seeing with these politicians. They're trying to exude feelings to their audience. And do I think that it's helpful? No, it's destructive. They're all incompetent. They're all fucking baboons. They're fools.
But everybody is just a person.
They're
that's
people.
What I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So don't get...
You're right.
I kind of feel like this is why I'm
Worry about your own narrow ass. And the people that... And your family. Your family and the things that are around you. And your local community. You can't control some shit that's happening.
My whole philosophy of life. And maybe, like, I know, because sometimes you said, like, I seem apathetic and stuff like that. I'm not apathetic. It's just that I understand that no one's really in control of shit. A lot of shit is random that happmes.
Yeah, and people pretending that they're in
control.
People
pretend that they're in control, and it's like they're not. I know it makes them feel better, but fine. I've become very zen with the fact that we don't really have a lot of control over what happens.
Not in the big picture.
And in the big picture, and that's fine. It's scary, but it's fine. I've come to terms with it. So it's like no one's in control of the shit. No one really knows what's going on. Everyone's just as stupid and ignorant as I am and doesn't know what's going on. So it's all fine. Maybe some people know a little bit more, but that's okay. So I'm just... It's fine. Everything will work out the way it's going to work out. There's not a lot you can do about it. Just chill. Just chill out. Be happy.
In my experience, the only things you can do is protect your friends and family and the things that you care about, the things in your local sphere. And here in Florida, the biggest threat to me here in Florida is a hurricane. Hurricane.
Yeah, I'm more worried about nature.
Yeah,
honestly.
Hurricane.
Nature will kick my ass.
What would a hurricane be? A good-sized hurricane would be like Katrina. Been through that, which means prolonged power outage.
Yeah.
That means prolonged inability to resupply. So you're going to need food, storable food, potable water, shit that can be water that can be collected and filtered. And because worst case will be 2 months. I think 2 months worst case, because Katrina was about 2 months. All right, and I don't think it'd get much worse than that. So food, water, defense, because you couldn't call the cops. So you better have a way to defend your family and your property. If everybody does that, things stay calm, because all your neighbors are doing the same thing. And in Florida, most of your neighbors know about this. Okay.
Yeah, one thing I've found in Florida, like I said, I was born here. I grew up here my whole life. I haven't been through anything as bad as Katrina, but I've been through a lot of hurricanes, tornadoes, shit like that. So it's kind of like most of the time, most of your neighbors are totally cool, and everyone is going to like help everyone else out in your neighborhood. So it's going to be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Now, so you got food, water, power, defense. All right. Another thing would be communications. If you don't have power, very difficult to communicate through the internet, or if the internet is down, or if you don't have a generator. Another thing you might want to look at is something like a radio. They got a lot of little radios for like $200 that can pick up ham, little small handheld ham, and you'll be able to fucking hear
that's a good thing to have.
And they're all, that's the next thing on my list is to get some good little ham radio or a little kind of survivalist type radio. It might be, there's a couple different things. There's ham, and then there's fucking, what's that other one? GMRS, I think is what it's called. And you can pick up all your local government stations for security, fucking emergency stuff, and you can transmit up to about 5 miles with that. Probably more like 2. But you don't really need to transmit. You need to be able to monitor. That's the most important thing.
Well, yeah, you just want to know what's going on.
You want to know what's going on the emergency frequencies. You used to be able to get police scanners, but I think they're all encrypted now. So you probably would not be able to break police encryption.
Which is funny because my dad used to like listen to police scanners all the time. Ooh, let's go see the accident.
That's the main thing. So power, you want to get a good generator. I got 2 generators, a good Honda, and another one that's even bigger that'll run the whole house, all the refrigerators, and the central air.
Because those are kind of like, you don't want to, you're free to go bad, and you don't want to like sweat your balls
Just
off.
plug it into the side of the house, and it'll fucking run the whole house. You just got to stockpile some gasoline for the fucking hurricane season.
Well, it is hurricane season.
It's hurricane season.
It's hurricane season until November 30th.
And it won't be till next month we can get that fucking connector on the side of the damn house. But in an emergency, we can run the little...
Well, September and October are the worst months.
Right. If you think about preparing for a hurricane, if you prepared for everything like a hurricane, you could probably pretty much survive anything. If you had riots breaking out, civil unrest, and all this kind of shit you see on the news happening up north, if you planned for it like it was a riot or like a hurricane, you'd be all right. Because you'd have everything you need.
Like I said, I was born here, so it's just kind of like every year that was just something that you did.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we got to get the water, we got to get the plywood, we got to get this, that, and the other thing. It's like every year you would kind of like go through this whole shit because you didn't know if, I mean, we were mostly lucky. I grew up in Daytona, which is right on the coast, but most hurricanes would either like go across South Florida and then go into the Gulf of Mexico, or they'd like glance us and then keep going up the coast. So it's like we got hit by a bunch, but none of them were super, super terrible. Yeah. I remember going through a few, like I remember going through one in 1979 that was pretty shitty. And then there was one in, or actually there were 4 in 2005, 2006, something like that. That there were 4 of them within a 6-week period. Yeah. That blew. Our power was out for a very long time. Our street flooded. Some of my fucking roof tiles blew off because I owned a house back then. My whole fence blew down, so I had to replace that, which blew. But the house was still there because it was built in the 50s and it was made of concrete block. So that was good. But honestly, so I don't know. I'm just like, because I grew up in that environment where like every year, like all your shit could be blown away. Yeah. So it's kind of like blasé at this point.
way I grew up, fucking, if you'd show me all this prepper bullshit, I'd have fucking laughed at that until I fucking went through Katrina. And that's when I was like, yeah, now I understand it. And I think Katrina actually gave my generation a big fucking wake up. Everybody around the fucking world saw that, and the country saw that, the United States. And that was when all these fucking prepper fucking shows appeared out of nowhere. And then whole companies that would sell you the big number 10 cans. Because
you could see that it happened. It happened.
These big number 10 cans of freeze-dried food and stuff. Or not, freeze-dried, like astronaut-type food. Just add water and you got a whole bunch of food. All that shit would have come in real handy to a whole hell of a lot of people in Katrina.
And I mean, the thing about it, like I said, it's scary. But in Florida, it's like, it's an annual, and it's long. It comes, like, hurricane season starts June 1st, and it goes till November 30th. Yeah. The worst is usually September, October. Yeah. That's like, but you can have some before then, but usually September, October is like the worst era.
The shit hits, man. It's like a damn train.
And so I'm pretty aware every year you would get, oh shit, oh here comes this one, and my grandma was like super paranoid about them, so it's like
freak out.
Yeah, so it's like she always had the Weather Channel on if one was like coming toward us. Yeah. And and the news would like pump it up too because they were kind of like, oh, here it comes, and it's like, so it'd be like a week or whatever, and you'd be like worried about it. But it's like you worry about shit every year for your whole life. You kind of get So I know that, like, a lot of Floridians that were born here, like, a big hurricane is coming and they're just like, whatevs. Yeah. I got, like, fucking plywood on my windows. I got a big fucking bucket of candy. I'm fine. I got my grill. You know. Yeah. But that's why, because we've, you know, I'm from here. So it's like every single year you have that shit happening. And it's like, it could happen. It has happened. Look at fucking what happened in Homestead. Mm-hmm. Fucking all that. That place was, like, torn to fucking pieces. So... we've seen it happen. We're not apathetic about it. We've seen what can happen, but it's just kind of like every year we're just kind of like, well, you can't do anything about it. You can't stop it. It's nature. Yeah. So it's going to fuck you. So you just kind of have to, like, let it ride. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I've kind of become, it's scary, but I'm kind of zen about it. Yeah. I mean, we did have a thing.
Camp guy says he's hoarding stuff like crazy.
So, I don't know. So, you know, remember that one we had, like, a couple years ago when we had that one hit, like, that sort of glanced off us. And it got so bad that we were like, yeah, I don't really want to sleep in the bedroom anymore because we have a sliding glass window. And I said, if that blows in, like, with the glass, that's going to, like, not be good. So we took Pookie into the closet. And we shut the pocket door and just slept in the closet with Pookie.
Yeah, Gramthars Hammer says he's a ham operator. Gives us call sign KE8NON. Jiraiya Trick Punk says he has 3 shortwave radios. He needs a ham though. Yeah, a lot of people are into that shit.
I mean, any kind of, like, battery, but it's just good to have, like, for anything. Like I said, just if bad weather. It's probably, like, a more likely scenario, especially if you're in the South.
Gramthars says police frequencies are all digital trunk systems now. Scanners exist, but they cost $500. They cost $500. Hit me up on YouTube, man. I want to see what it would take to get on to scan police later on. You got my direct.
It's funny because everybody used to do that.
I would like to scan police.
Because remember back in the old days, my dad used to have, like, a police scanner, like, on the fucking dashboard of the car, so he could like avoid, so he could speed and, like, so people wouldn't pull him over. Yeah. Because I feel like that was kind of a thing. So I guess, like, cops got mad about that.
Nom Fornick says, problem is up north. The tools you need to survive a riot are illegal. In my opinion, bro, you do what you have to do. Don't worry about other people telling you what to do. You do what you have to do. Okay? They're not following rules. Half this motherfucker isn't following rules. Just keep your shit low.
Senator said, I heard people went missing in Katrina that are still unaccounted. Exactly. A lot of people.
Like 20,000 of them are still missing.
Well, a lot of them just probably got washed away into the fucking ocean. Yeah. Sadly.
And then they'll
probably never find them.
And there was a lot of fucking young black females vanished. Very strange. There was a gang of guys that were snatching them off of fucking porches too. You see, stop it, poop. When the power went out, the air conditioning went out. It was fucking miserably hot. So people were sleeping on their porches in certain areas.
She's pulling all my makeup out from underneath the thing.
People were sleeping on their porches. And in the middle of the night, there was a couple of occasions that we heard of through the state police that 4 or 5 guys would run up and grab some young girl and then run off with her in front of her family. Just it happened, and, you know, they couldn't stop them. They all had guns and stuff. And the girl never seen again. So, evidently raped and murdered. Down in the damn hood.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you were of that proclivity, then that would be a good time to do it.
They were stealing everything. They were fucking a lot of payback. Guys that had beefs with other dudes prior to that. It was a good time to commit a murder on your enemies. It was just, it was a time of fucking chaos. Civilization just vanished after about 2 days. Gone.
Camp guy said it's almost 80 inside my house right now. Only been hot the last week or 10 days. Oh, well. Man. In a way, you're kind of lucky. It's been hot here since, what, April? Yeah. You know, not inside the house because we keep our AC pretty low. Although, honestly, you said, I didn't feel this, but you said it was hot in the house the other day, and then you went out and the AC was, like, blocked with moss or something. It happens, like, every year. Every year. The
drain tube that comes...
The AC gets, like, clogged up.
Gets clogged with fucking moss. Not moss, what do you call it? Like slime, it's like slime mold. Yeah. And you have to fucking open up this little place of port, and you blast it out of there with a high-pressure water hose. And you get the flow going, and you run out there, and you see it just like... was probably about 10 feet.
Gunk is like coming out
10
of
feet
pipe.
of white slime.
Yeah.
Came out, and then it started dripping.
Even in Florida, you would think that somebody would have designed a better air conditioning unit. Maybe someone did, but I kind of feel like people that are building houses are not putting them in the houses.
They're just working fast.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like every year when I grew up, it seemed like every year the air conditioner would break.
Yeah.
Because it's too hot. Like the air conditioning unit can't
Sheila says, I know that
deal with it.
Sheila said, I know after Hurricane Sandy, dudes were stealing the generators that were running outside the garages here. Yeah, you got to do that. What you do is when you put your generator outside, you have to chain it to something. So they can't run off with it. Got to chain it to a tree or something.
Well, we did that, didn't we? We ran the generator.
Yeah. We had security here. It's hard for them to get in.
And we live in like a gated community. Yeah,
it's harder for them to get in.
You don't really, unless it's one of your neighbors, which is possible.
And this neighborhood is not a desperate neighborhood. Fucking everybody was fucking running their generators. So everybody's prepared.
Yeah, a lot of people had generators in this neighborhood. This is, the neighborhood we live in.
I got 2 generators. One of them, fucking in emergency, I can trade. It's brand new, only been used once. It's just not, it doesn't crank up. It's a Honda, too. It just doesn't, it's a Honda Black Max. It's fucking nice. It's just that it's not enough to run the entire house and the central air system, and that's what I wanted. I wanted something that would run all my refrigerators, the internet, and the central airs.
Because that's kind of all you need.
Yeah. That way I go,
I don't give a shit about lights or anything.
I'm still in civilization. Nice and cool in here, like nothing happened.
I got all my food in the fridge. I got the AC running, and I've still got Wi-Fi.
Still got Wi-Fi, so, yeah.
That's all you need, really. I can't really think of anything else.
Because we've been without, or nearly without. I had that old generator running out there, and it was...
We had problems. Well, honestly, I think as long as we've lived in this house, the longest we've been without power was, 2 days?
2 days, yeah. That shit was fucking hot.
And that sucked enough. Now, like I said, back in 2004, 2005, when we had, like, those 4 hurricanes or tropical storms or whatever hit within 6 weeks, at the house that I used to own, my power was out for 8 days.
Yeah.
That sucked a lot. A lot. And also my street was flooded, so I couldn't get out.
Can't be talking about good portable AC units. You know,
and the AC at my work was out too. Yeah. And I still had to go to work, and my street was flooded, and the AC at work was out. So that was special.
I got 3 window units and then another stand-in unit that fucking exhausts out that doesn't work too well. That's what I was running that last storm. But all that's obsolete now because I can run the central system off that one generator. So I got a bunch of fucking window units that I might be able to fucking sell when I think about it.
True.
Yeah. I wouldn't have to run extension cord all throughout the house either.
Yeah, because that kind of blew. There was like extension cords all over the fucking house. It looked so bad. Yeah. And even with that, it was kind of like the house was still like stunk like a wet dog.
Yeah, because you can't air condition the whole house, just rooms.
Yeah. Well, we just air conditioned like the bedroom.
Yeah.
And like
the bedrooms.
Yeah. That was pretty much it.
The office in here.
Yeah.
And then like the cats are like, what the fuck? Because the living rooms are all, and the living rooms and the dining rooms.
We can't stay in here.
Like, this
what
shit
is this?
fucking
I have
hot.
a fur coat on.
Yeah. They were like,
what are you even doing?
Cats are spoiled. You open the door and they're like, ooh, it's too hot.
That's what, like, Pookie, she gets all excited because she's in the AC, like, all day. She's sleeping. Then when night comes, she's like, ooh, I want to go outside. And she's, like, starts scratching at the window. Yeah. And then, like, we're like, okay, well, we put her little collar on. We open the door. And then she looks out. And then her little back arch. She's like,
She's like, no, it's hot. No. Fuck that.
I'm like...
It's like, what were you thinking?
And then she runs to the front door like that outside's going to be different.
Like each outside is a different temperature.
Is this one better?
Let me check the front. Let me check the front. Oh, that one too.
This one sucks too. This one sucks too.
She's trying to go out. She's trying to go out there too. Look. She thinks that closet door is the way out.
She still thinks that. Oh, poor Pokey. She still thinks that the closet leads to outside. She goes in there, like, I leave that open a little bit for her to, like, go in there and play. I don't know what she's doing in there. She goes in there. Brrr, she says. She goes in there, and then all of a sudden, like, 5 minutes later, I hear...
Oh, it was bored?
I don't know what she's doing in there. She's like, I don't like it in there. That wasn't what I wanted. Aw, Pookie, it's not outside. I've told you that a million times.
Stop it, Pook.
She's so crazy. She honestly, we saw her today. She has decided, I don't know if you guys know, but we have that that kind of like, what do you call it? Like it's like a cat system that's like mounted on the walls, like out in the foyer or whatever. And so there's like, damn, Pook. So there's like little things that they can jump on and like a little egg thing they can like lay in. And there's like little hammock things that they can sleep in. Now, Pookie was not real big on them. It's like sometimes she'll go in the egg thing and like sleep in there, but not much. Beijing loved it though. Like she would go up in the hammock like by the ceiling and she would sleep in there, and that was kind of her thing. But the last couple times that I walked past there, I saw that Pookie was up in the hammock by the ceiling. So she must have like taken the shit over from Beige, and Beijing is probably not happy about it.
Yeah. Terry in there said that the fucking cheapest AC unit is just a fucking fan and a block of ice.
In Florida, that wouldn't even really doesn't work.
That wouldn't even put a dent in
It really doesn't work. I mean, down here, like I said, I know everybody says it's not the heat, it's the humidity, but that's totally true.
It's the humidity.
Being in Florida in the summer feels like if somebody soaked a big, thick towel in hot water and just like laid it on your face, and you couldn't like take it off your face. And then like, but that's like going outside feels like that. It feels like somebody just put a wet towel on your face that you can't take off. So like everything is sticky. Even if you're in air conditioning, which we are, you get out of the shower and it's just like you're still sticky. You still feel sticky and sweaty, and you just can't ever get rid of that feeling for like months and months at a time. It's miserable. It's a miserable environment. AC makes it tolerable, but it's still not. It's not ideal.
I don't care about it anymore.
It's not ideal.
Jenny's sick of it, but she doesn't know how good. She's spoiled. She doesn't know how good.
Bitch, I was born here.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me about like fucking.
Spoiled. Florida's fucking pretty cool. I like it. Yeah, it is fucking humid, but
and the bugs. Yeah, let's not even.
You gotta lean into it. See, you just lean into the shit. You go, yeah, it's humid. I'm gonna go to the pool. That's how you.
Well, you have to. Like, there's no. Honestly, like I said, when I was on vacation, I was in St. Augustine, and I went to the alligator farm, and I was like, look, I know I'm going to be here like all day. I'm going to be outside most of the day, so I'm just going to have to deal with, it was like fucking 500 degrees. I don't even know how hot it was, but it was like super, super hot. So I was like, I'm just going to like fucking deal with it. I'm going to put sunblock on. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm Florida-splaining. Yeah, I'm Florida-splaining.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was born here.
Yeah, like, and they're saying, well, 80%. It's 100% humidity here.
It is.
Pretty much all year round.
Like I said, it's the air is like thick.
Yeah.
It's wet.
This is a tropical environment.
The air is wet.
This is a tropical environment. And we have our own monsoon season and everything.
Yes.
And it's a fucking swamp. This is Dagobah. But it's a coniferous forest and swamp. It's both. And it's got bears and fucking raccoons and shit.
You got bears, raccoons, possums.
Storks and huge alligators.
Alligators.
Gigantic boa constrictors and anacondas.
Bobcats.
Yeah, bobcats. There's anacondas and boa constrictors here that people have let go. They live here
that
now.
Have escaped,
Yeah, and they live here, yeah.
You never know what you're going to see.
You can easily find a fucking... You could be walking out there one day and run across a fucking 12 to 15 foot long fucking anaconda with a head as big as a damn German Shepherd's head. Yeah.
Well, like I said, I like to tell this story too. This is like the Florida story. I was driving from Daytona to DeLand one time. I don't remember where I was going. I was going somewhere in DeLand. On 92, which is like the main highway between Daytona and DeLand, I saw a big giant alligator just running across the road.
Yeah. And they got 20-foot alligators.
And everybody's stopping going, look at that. There's an alligator running across the road. All right.
And they got them 15, 20 feet long, man.
It was big. It was big.
They walk, they stand up. They're off the ground, walking across the street.
Running across the highway.
Big.
Honestly, when I was in elementary school, and this was like in the middle of like a kind of a city or a suburb, an alligator ran across the street, like this little street that went to my elementary school. And there was like just houses. It wasn't like, there was no forest or anything. It was suburbs. It was houses and companies and highways and whatnot. So an alligator had run across the road that led to my elementary school, and someone had run it over. So for a long time, there was like a flattened, dead alligator on the road that led to my elementary school.
You got people in there from Michigan talking about how humid it is in Michigan. Yeah, I was in Michigan. Michigan gets pretty hot. I actually kind of liked the winter with the snow. You get sick of it after a while, but that was nice. But no, the heat in Michigan is nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, it's like
compared to Florida.
I get that like other people are like, yeah, it's hot here, and like it probably is. I'm not saying it's not.
100% humidity makes a gigantic difference.
I think it's like different.
It's 100% humidity, 100+ degrees of heat. You can have.
And I've been to like the Southwest. Yeah. I've been to like I've been to Colorado. I've been to like New Mexico, and it's hot out there, but it's not
the same.
It's not the same.
It's even hotter than Mississippi. It's not all right, the same. And Mississippi can get fucking hot, but it's even hotter here. It's just hot. Yeah, hot and miserable and fucking humid. People that are from here,
you walk out the door and it's just like, like I said, I was born here. It's like you walk out the door and I'm like, yep, I'm already tired. Yep. I'm tired. I'm going back to bed. It's just you just don't want to even deal with it.
People, if they can, will stay indoors for most of the summer, if they can.
Well, I always did when I was growing up.
And we go out at night to go to clubs, and we do have to go out and run errands and shit. I mean, you have to go out sometimes, but you prefer to stay in the AC if at all possible. But Florida's got beautiful homes, and it's fucking got a lot of cool shit. You do get all that back in the other seasons. It's very mild weather. It's very enjoyable. It's
nice here in the winter. Sometimes it's still hot in the winter. Gotta say.
Sometimes it's pretty cold in the winter, but mostly just in the morning. It depends on how strong the winter is. But there are some winters where you could still go to the pool for the winter, no problem.
Yeah, and honestly, I remember most winters, we were just waiting because we wanted it to be cold. Like I said, I was born in Florida. So you would see like all the Christmas specials. It's like, look at all the snow and like, look, it's cold and everybody's like in their scarves and they have like hot chocolate. Like, wow, I wish we could do that. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and it kind of sucked that we couldn't. So it's like every now and then, but it usually wasn't up to Christmas because it's usually hot. Hot or warm up until January. So Christmas, sometimes it was cold-ish, but usually it was like 70. So it's not real Christmassy. If it's going to get cold here, it'll be January or February. So a lot of times we'd have to wait until after Christmas, which blew, because it didn't really feel all that Christmassy. So sometimes January, February, you get like a day or two when it went down to like 30 degrees and and that's Fahrenheit. So we'd be like so excited and we would like tell my grandma, this is when we were kids, tell my grandma, please turn the sprinklers on so it will freeze the front yard so we can pretend that it snowed and we can pretend like it's wintertime. And so she'd be like, I'm going to kill all the grass. And I'd be just like, yeah, but we never get to blah, blah, blah. So, she would do it sometimes and kill all the grass because, fair play to her, like RIP. Because my grandma was awesome. So she would kill her entire yard to freeze it so we could get up in the morning at like 6 a.m. and run out there in our little coats and be like, wee! And we like could pretend it was winter for like an hour until it all melted.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's so fucking sad. It's sad. But that was like the only winter that we ever had. That was the only winter that we ever had.
Yeah.
I wanted winter like Christmas on TV like for so much of my childhood. And I was so bummed out that I never got that experience. And like people from Australia probably feel me because it's probably like the same thing down there because that's their summer. And it's kind of like that here, gotta say. Because like I said, if it's going to get cold here, it's going to be in the new year. It's going to be January or February. That's when we have coldest temperatures. And even then, honestly, I've never seen it. I don't think I've ever seen it my entire time of living here, which is almost 50 years. I don't think I've ever seen it get colder than 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Maybe. And that was like one night.
When I first moved here in 2008, it was freezing. There was snow.
Yeah, but...
That was back in 2008, though.
But even when we have snow, I've seen snow here a couple of times. Yeah. But when you see snow here, it's like it'll be a couple of flakes, and you'll be like, "Ooh!" And everybody gets super excited. Look, it's snowing.
It's stuck, though.
It'll stick on the ground for like a second, and then it melts.
No, not in 2008. It stuck for days.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it is. It was up in the Eustis area.
Well, okay, maybe in like the mid part of like, area. But on the coast it never.
They had all the damn fucking nativity displays, and people were running through, doing tours through it and everything.
Yeah, we get super jazzed when they were all jazzed. Snow. Because we never see it.
And to me, it was like normal because I had seen so much snow, but to them they were fucking freaking out.
I didn't see snow until like real snow, like that stayed on the ground and like piled up and stuff. Until I was 23. I went to Wales for the first time that year, and it snowed really bad. They had like a really bad winter, and there was like a lot of snow, and I was like, oh my God, I was so excited. They were all like fucking pissed off because of like, oh my God, what the fuck? But because, no one could drive and was like driving, sliding all over the road and stuff. But I was in heaven. I was like, I could build a snowman? Awesome. Because I'd never got to do that. I never got to do that as a kid. It didn't snow. So it's like, I don't know. I feel robbed of my childhood. We don't have seasons. There's no seasons. I don't know, and that bums me out. I feel like I missed out on a lot of shit. I think I've mentioned this before, but when I was younger, what?
No, I'm just nothing.
When I was younger, I saw this movie. Maybe one day we'll do a retrospective on it, because I really like this movie, and I think it's kind of like underrated. I think it came in 87, maybe earlier. It was called The Lady in White, and it's kind of like, an old school kind of ghost story. Thank you, Victor, for shitty movies entrance fee.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and
Tom shitty movies.
I'll let you in.
Yeah, there you go. And so in that movie, which was set in like New England type area.
Yeah, hold on one second. If anybody wants to join Tom's shitty movies on Facebook, go ahead and add yourself to it. It's on Facebook.
It's a fun group.
And it's another group. We everybody posts a lot of shit in there and talks a lot of shit.
But
I sometimes I'll post pictures from the club and links to fucking basic bitches on the fucking stripper poles and shit. Go, there's Florida.
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I saw this movie, and it was set in, I don't remember exactly where, but it was like up in the Northeast somewhere. So the movie was set at Halloween, and everybody was like in their little coats and little hats, and like they were talking about like it was Halloween, and they were talking about how cold it was. And when I was a little kid, when I first saw that, I was like, what the fuck? It's not cold at Halloween. What the fuck are they even talking about? And then I realized that they were like from the Northeast. And I'm like, oh, maybe it is cold out there. Because honestly, I grew up in Florida. It's like Halloween is always like hot as shit. So you always kind of had to have like a costume that wasn't going to like, you weren't going to die because you got to walk around for hours in this costume and you're going to get a heat stroke. So it's never cold on Halloween, ever. So I didn't understand at first, like it being cold on Halloween, that like didn't compute because I'm so used to it being hot on Halloween, which blows. Yeah. But I understood later. But all right, I gotta go to the bathroom. So you talk.
All right, I will reset the conversation. We've been on weather for about 2 hours, probably.
No, we haven't.
Okay, so what you guys up to? Yeah, well, first of all, Mike says you're not missing anything with snow. I don't think so either. I did have some good times with snow, but whatever. But, yeah, you can go ahead and go on Facebook and look up Tom's Shitty Movies, SHIDDY. And I'll let you in there. We have fun in there, too. And you guys got a lot of guys showing me stuff, Con will show me fucking shit, movies, movie posters, and just talk about stuff. And some of the clubs we go to post fucking crazy videos that they took in the clubs, and I'll share them into the group. A couple days ago, I shared one that had like 5. It was over at Mannequins, my friend Tom's club over at Mannequins had these like 5 basic bitches, just regular Florida girls. They weren't goth or anything, and they're trying to get up on the stripper pole and fucking sling around, try to look sexy as possible. It wasn't really working. It was fucking funny, but I just put that shit up there and said basic, and fucking DJ's wife started laughing underneath there. see what's going on here. All right, DJ says, had to explain to you that the costumes on New Year's Eve used to be a thing after the Terror Train review. It happened in training places as well. I'm not really sure what that's in reference to. Jenny might understand. Terry's asking me to do a retelling of the Mammoth Mountain Poltergeist.
Am I gonna do it?
Nah. You mean right now?
Sure.
You guys want me to talk about Mammoth?
Well, he was laying out in the living room.
Yeah.
Like, she's all stretched out, and I came out of the bathroom, and she just, like, turned her little head upside down, looked at me going,
yeah.
Look, I'm all...
Boogie, yeah.
Look, I'm all stretched out.
Yeah.
She's so cute. I mean, you should. You could give, like, an abbreviated...
Man,
for people that haven't read the book.
So sick of telling that one.
Are you really?
Kinda.
I mean, don't feel like you have
Matter of fact, Zach was asking me about that today. Hey, man.
Well, see, like, people are interested.
Do you think the volcano had anything to do with the matter?
Yeah, he said he was mad because you didn't, like, respond to that.
No.
DJ Maniac says, I had to explain to you that costumes on New Year's Eve used to be a thing after the Terror Train review. It happened in Trading Places as well. Yeah, he sent me a review about that, and I had totally forgot about that scene in Trading Places. That. And I was like...
Another generation, I guess.
Maybe it was, because I don't ever remember... Like I said, the only thing I remember, like, New Year's Eve, people were, like, stupid hats and, like, have horns and stuff, but I don't remember anybody, like, doing, like, a full-on costume, like, masquerade shit. I thought it was more like Halloween. What's up, Poke?
Cookie just throws the door open.
Yeah, she's like, phew.
Yeah.
Don't close the door.
The whole Mammoth thing was a fucking weird experience. My Aunt Lois and Red, my Aunt Lois and my Uncle Red, and my cousin Wesley all came with me to a place called Mammoth Mountain. And it was a long story how my mom worked for an oil company called Conoco. She was the secretary down there, and I guess she was dating her boss or something like that. I think she was dating
shit, I don't think you told me that.
Yeah. Yeah. She ended up living with him. It was Russ. And I think it was her boss, or she knew him. He was one of the executives. And he had the ability to get access to, like, fucking company perks. And one of the things is kind of like the ability to stay at the company fucking lodge. They had a ski lodge. Well, not really a ski lodge. There was a ski resort called Chateau de Montage. Okay, I don't mention that in the book, just on the show.
We changed the names of some people and some, like.
Yeah.
We didn't want to get sued.
It's a bunch of condos up there in the mountains near a ski resort. And the company owned one of them. There's nothing special about that place. Don't be looking that place up and fucking with them. The people that would work there now would know nothing about this story. They wouldn't know anything about it.
Well, this was a long time ago. It's been, like,
It's been a long time ago. Yeah. And I think they may have changed the numbers. I remember what number it was. And I think they might have changed the numbers on them when I was looking at it through Google Earth. I think they might have renumbered. Maybe they tore one of them down and they changed the numbers. I'm not sure. But my mom's boyfriend was able to get that thing for the Christmas weekend and for the Christmas vacation. But my mom and her boyfriend didn't want to go. So my mom offered it to my Aunt Lois. And she goes, "Yo, yeah, I'll go." And I fucking says, "Yeah, I want to go too. I want to go with them." You know?
Yeah, free ski lunch, sure.
Yeah, I liked hanging out with my Aunt Lois and my Uncle Red and fucking my cousin Wesley more than I liked hanging out with my
because he was the same age as you.
Yeah, I didn't like hanging out with my mom and shit. I was like fucking 12, 13. Fuck them. I want to go to Christmas up there with fucking Uncle Red. Uncle Red was fucking cool, man. You know, and we'd do all kinds of shit. He'd fucking eat them damn little zingers and shit and those little fucking...
What flavor?
Zingers or zingers flavor? No.
Wait, no, there was lemon ones. They were the fucking
red ones with the fucking coconut on them and the jelly and I don't know what they called that shit.
See, I like the lemon.
They were little Hostess ones and they were fucking red with.
I didn't like those though. I like the lemon ones.
He used to also get them down.
We always end up talking about snack cakes somehow.
Yeah, he used to get those fucking lemon drop cookies. And then we used to get, what was that other thing that he used to get? Pecan sandies. We used to get those pecan sandies.
Oh, I love those.
We eat the shit out of those things.
I love pecan sandies. I think they still make those. That's a Keebler, right? That's
Keebler. Yeah.
Those are good.
So, and so we go up to, and I'm fucking telling you, man, this shit's gonna blow your mind. All right?
If you haven't heard it.
Yeah. My Uncle Red was young. He was in his 20s at that time. He'd never really been anywhere. This was like a fucking big deal to him to go. He could play guitar. This dude was a fucking badass guitarist. He was in all these country western and rock bands in California during that time. He ended up being a music teacher. He died about a year ago. Died of a heart attack. So he wanted to go up there with my Aunt Lois, and he's going to have a good time. Yeah, I've never been to the mountains. Let's ski. Oh, yeah, that's fucking cool. So it was kind of exciting
if somebody offered me some free shit like that, I would go.
And he's like, and Red's like, fucking, you know what I'm going to do? He's just, look at what I got, man. That's fucking tequila. He had the tequila. Yeah, he had tequila. He goes, we're going to make some sunrises. We'll drink a tequila sunrise when we get up there. I was like, oh, yeah.
They're going to give them like to 13-year-olds, though, right?
Oh, back in California in the California early 80s? Hell yeah.
Yeah, you didn't tell me.
Hell yeah. No. There was no stigma of that. It's just that you know.
Although, like I said, when I was a kid, people would be like, "Hey, have some beer, kid."
Yeah. That's a modern fucking
No
concept that a little kid could not drink alcohol. They weren't allowed to buy alcohol and go into a bar.
But your parents are just kind of like, "Here, shut up."
Yeah, under parent supervision or under the supervision of your family, that they could give you some alcohol as long as you stayed inside the house.
As long as you're not going to get too rambunctious.
Yeah, now you couldn't give the neighbors' kids alcohol, not without fucking parents' permission. But they were talking early 80s. It was not an issue back then. And I was going, oh, yeah. Yeah, let's drink some of that when we get down there. We never did drink any of that, though.
I was going to say, you didn't really mention that. No, I never did drink it. I kind of feel
I think maybe we took a few sips of it. That was about it. Fucking, because the mood changed once we got up there. So we packed up all our shit. Man, I'm fucking just telling the whole fucking story from day one. Packed up all our shit. And we were driving up there. And I was trying to have a good time. But I just had this weird feeling coming over me. I was in the back seat. They were driving a company car up there. We were supposed to leave the car there and to come back on the bus. Because the company wanted us to deliver that car to the condo and leave it there.
Yeah, because somebody else was supposed to come.
Somebody else was supposed to come get it. And it was supposed to be something that the company would have up there, you know. So we were on our way there, and I started to get creeped out. We were driving on these roads. It was snowing, and on the other, I was looking up to the left, and the left was like a cliff on the mountains, you know, and my Uncle Red is kind of stressing out driving this thing in the snow. Well.
I don't like that.
It's snowing. There's a fucking pretty much a sheer cliff on the other side, and I could tell he was shitting. And I was fucking in the back, and Lois was sitting up front with him. I was in the back with Wesley. And I just got this weird feeling that I was being watched, and then I started to have this kind of like, started having this feelings of dread, like I was going somewhere bad. And I started to think of the Overlook Hotel because I saw that fucking Kubrick movie.
Yeah, The Shining.
The Shining.
Because this was... The Shining came out in 1980. This was in 82. Christmas of 82.
Yeah. But it was during a time when they were playing The Shining on HBO all the time. It was either HBO or
yeah, because I'm pretty sure I saw it then, and it like stressed.
So I was seeing it a lot. Me. And I was like,
because I'm pretty sure I saw it when I was about 10.
I'm going up to some place that's kind of like a hotel, and there's these mountains and fucking, you know what I mean? What if this place is fucking haunted? I'm starting to think that, you know?
You did it.
And I felt this fucking fear kind of building up into me, and then boom! The hood flew open and blocked the fucking view, Red's view, and he fucking put the brakes on gently to stop. And my fucking heart was pounding. Fucking Lois is looking at me, and he's looking around like, what the fuck was that? And he gets out and looks at the fucking hood and shuts it and he comes back in, and Lois is like, what it was? He goes, I couldn't see anything wrong with it. That's some weird shit.
You did that.
Because you know how they have the damn latch where it opens and then there's a safety thing so it can't open up any further? He couldn't see what the problem was.
Man, the fucking hood on my car is like fucking really hard to open.
Yeah.
You have to like pop the shit from inside and then you have to like find it under the thing, and then even then you're kind of like, where the fuck is it? It's like in a weird place and it's like really hard to pop open. So
that happened and it didn't make me feel much better. So we drive up there and it starts getting kind of creepier and creepier to me as we get closer. That happened. We were maybe about a half hour away from it. I think. Didn't Lois say we were about a half hour away?
I can't remember, but I think she said something like that.
They were older than I was, so you know, of course, their memory's a little bit.
Well, that's why I interviewed them for the book.
Right. Yeah.
In case anybody didn't know.
So when we get there, it doesn't look anything like the Overlook Hotel. It's just a bunch of what do you call it?
Just like condos.
Condos. They're brown wood on the outside, and they got sloped tops. It looked like a regular condo you'd see from the late 70s, like something out of a fucking Cronenberg movie or something, you know, like something out of The Brood.
Although you hadn't seen that.
I hadn't seen that yet, but it's what it looked like. Everything kind of looked like that.
It did, yeah.
So, just so people understand. So they went up to the front office and they got everything for it, and we find the one because they had to get the key, I think, or they had to check in or something. Do you remember they went to the front office, and we go there, park the car, and they open the door to walk in, and when they opened the door, Lois went in first, and then Red went in. Lois went, "Ooh, that's weird. It's weird in here." And fucking as I stepped in, I felt it. It felt like some kind of high pressure zone was in there. Like just some kind of weird stillness. Like something was watching you. And that was the only way I could really explain it. Now I had a bag in my hand. It was a blue vinyl travel bag that had 2 straps on top of it and had a zipper that went through. And it was zip closed. And it had, you know, underwear and socks and clothes and shit like that in it. When I went in the front door, the first door on the right was the first room. And there was another room, and I could see another room at the end. And then there was a staircase that went up to the top room. And Lois said, "Okay, well, choose your room." And I chose the first room on the right when you went in through the fucking door. I says, "I'll take this one." And I threw my travel bag on the bed. And they kept walking down the hallway. And Wesley chose the bedroom next to it. During that time, I was heading back out to the car because I had a little suitcase to pick up. I get that suitcase, come back inside, and go into that room where I threw the travel bag on the bed, and saw movement, and saw a fucking rolled up pair of socks fucking moving and come to a halt as soon as I looked at it. And the bag was on its side and it was open. And those pair of socks was like 3 feet away down to the foot of the bed. And I was like, no. Couldn't be. I didn't open that. I said, maybe I did open that and it fell over and the socks rolled out. That's how I explained it.
Well, yeah, that's what you would think.
But I had a weird feeling when that happened. So I took all that shit and put it in the drawers. Day went on kind of normally. We went out. I'm trying to remember what happened next. It must have been kind of late in the day or something. I remember that later on that night, I was laying in bed, and I could have swore I heard something dragging across the carpet at the foot of the bed. And it sounded like something big, like the dresser. But I was afraid to open my eyes at it. Opened my eyes and looked. It was dark in there, and I didn't see anything. And then I heard the telephone receiver in the fucking on the right of the bed up near the front was a nightstand. There was 2 of them on either side of the bed. On this side was a nightstand and the door out. On this side was a nightstand with a phone on it in the corner of the room. I heard something moving at the foot. I heard that first. And I looked, I didn't see anything. And as I was looking in that direction, I heard the receiver of the telephone pick up and then drop on the fucking phone. And I was scared to look.
I don't blame you.
I was scared.
I gotta say.
So I looked and didn't see anything. And I was so scared, man, that I fucking willed myself to fall asleep. And as I was willing myself to fall asleep, I heard a couple of the empty coat hangers in the closet fucking jingle together. Remember those old metal coat hangers? Mm-hmm. I heard them go like a wind blew through there, but it was closed.
Yeah.
We woke up the next day. I was kind of fucking trying to shake it off. I was pretty, wigged out about it. And we all went down to the ski slopes, and it was kind of fucking with me in the back of my mind. And while I was there, I kept asking Red if he'd ever been in a haunted house. And he said, "Yeah, I think we were in a place we were playing one time. We were rehearsing for a gig and heard something moving in the walls. We thought maybe it was a ghost, but it might have just been rats." Well, I asked him a couple times about haunted houses and ghosts, and he's like, "Why are you asking me this?" I said, "Oh, nothing." I was a kid, And he says, "Well, you think that place is haunted?" And I said, "Yeah, I think it is." He says, "Why do you think that?" And I told him what happened. And he goes, "Let's leave Lois here. Don't tell her that happened. Let's leave her here because she was skiing. Let's go back over there and fucking check that place out." I was like, "All right." So we go back to the lodge, to the condo. And when we get there, we found towels, little hand towels folded up and put on the back of some of the doorknobs. And we found little hand towels folded up and soap, little travel soaps, at the foot of the beds. You know what I mean? Like, you were at the base of the bed, mm-hmm. where you would sit. And Red's like, "What is this? Is this some kind of..." Well, we're looking at it and we're like, "Was this some kind of room service that did this?" I don't know. Well, down on the bottom floor, at the very end, the room at the very end of the hallway, there was a room that had bunk beds and a drafting table and a little stool that had a back on it. It was a drafting table where a person could do drafting. I guess it's part of being a company house or whatever. I don't know. That's just what they had in there. And it had on the back of that stool, it had a folded up hand towel along the back of it, like right here, Yeah. Sitting there. And Red pointed at that. And he goes, "What is this? Who does that? What kind of room service does that?"
Yeah, it seems like a weird place to put a hand towel.
And I'm going, "I don't know." So it was pulled out about a foot. He pushed it in like that, I think he pushed it in. And then we went back and got Lois. I think that's how that went. We told Lois about it. And she goes, "Really?" Later on, we saw that we looked at that stool again, and it had moved a little bit. And I said, "Red, you remember? You pushed this in." And he goes, Yeah, I did push that in. Because it was pulled back out again. And Lois is going, "Man, this is really weird." So Red pushed that chair back in, and we were getting ready to walk out of that room. And Red goes, "Wait a minute, hold on." He was just shutting the door. He goes, "Let's memorize it." I said, yeah, good. And he opened the door, and that chair was pulled back out. And I said, "Look at that." Well, no, that's not how that happened. It was pulled back up. We came back, and it was it was pulled out when we brought Lois back in, about 8 inches.
Because right. He said, "I pushed that back in."
Yeah. That's how it went.
And you're like, "Yeah."
We pushed it back in and left. And then when we came back in, we noticed that the lamp was gone. And the lamp was in the closet with the power cable going across the floor, pointed to where it was plugged in. And I fucking screamed and ran. There was no time for anybody in there.
Yeah.
To pick that lamp up.
What you told me happened was that's only you were looking in the room.
Yeah. That's what the lamp.
Because Red was saying, "Look, like I pushed that chair in and now it's pulled out again. Like we just went back to get you guys from the slopes.
Right.
And now, like, the chair is fucked up.
Right.
And look, there's all these hand towels, like, laid around.
Yeah.
And then, like, I think Lois said something, because I talked to her as well, like, on the phone. Like, I interviewed her extensively about this shit, and she said, I commented about how ugly the lamp was that was, like, on the table next to the bed.
See, this is just the very first thing that happened.
Yeah.
A lot of shit happened. So much shit happened that I couldn't remember it all, and Red had to remind me of some of the shit that happened.
Well, that's why I'm glad that, I mean, like I said, he's passed away now, but it's like, it's really good, like...
What had happened with the Matchbox cars and everything at his house.
Yeah, you had forgotten about that.
I had forgotten all about the Matchbox cars.
So I interviewed him. So I interviewed, like, them and him, like, separately.
Yeah.
Because the first time that he told me about this story, I was like, I believed it, but I was, like, still pretty skeptical.
Yeah.
So he said, we'll call Lois and Red.
Yeah.
And so I talked to Lois and Red, like, separately from him.
Yeah.
Like, in another room. Like, he wasn't listening.
I had talked to him in years.
So I talked to them, like, extensively, and they told me pretty much the same story that you told me.
And there were certain things I forgot about. I kind of forgot about the knife. Yeah. Oh, did I forget about the knife, or did I remember the knife? There were certain elements.
Well, that happened later.
Much later. That wasn't at Mammoth. See, it didn't just happen there. It happened to also Lois's house, my house. And it's happened in here, but it was nowhere near as good. It used to be much stronger.
Yeah, we've had shit happen in here, too. It's not scary. It's just...
Oh, it was back in those days.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I wasn't scared by it. That's what I meant.
The weirdest thing that I saw is was walking... This is in Mammoth. There was two things that were fucking pretty astounding that I saw. Lois and them saw stuff that was even weirder, but I wasn't in the room when it happened. They saw the pillows fucking being thrown and shit. I was walking down a hallway and fucking saw Red look into a room and go, and gasp. And I ran up there to see what it was he was looking at. And he was looking at a rocking chair with a whole bunch of folded up towels sitting on it. And it was rocking like that. Fast. Pretty fast. Like a person shaking it on the back. And I just fucking, man, like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then as soon as I was kind of like taking it in, I saw like a blurry spot on the back of it, like right here, like up in here.
Yeah.
I saw some kind of blurry, clear spot go, like it was jumped off of it and then got smaller or it went away. Like something that was holding it and then let go. It was fucking weird, man. That one was pretty weird. Another one was like at Lois's apartment. This is like a couple days later after we'd left. Lois had a plate of cheese and crackers, and she was cutting the cheese with a knife and putting it on crackers. And I was watching television, and she got up and put that thing in the kitchen. And when she sat back down, I rested my head back on the other couch like that, and something touched my head, my hair. And I looked back like that, and it was that same knife she just put away. And I said, Lois, it's back, the knife. And she took it. She's like, oh my God, that's so weird. We were kind of getting used to it at that point in a weird way.
Yeah, because you've been a week at Mammoth. And
and then she put the knife back in the kitchen and walked back into the room with us. And at that time, Red was walking in. She says, what happened with the knife? And a fucking flash of light, that knife came flying through the air, went right in front of me, went right to the sliding glass doors, stopped dead, and then boom, fell down at my feet and didn't bounce. Boom, like that. That fucking piece, that knife, and I went, whoa, whoa, whoa! It was a kitchen knife, like one that you. And that was the weirdest thing that I saw. I jumped out of my fucking skin, and Red was just like, he just went fucking pale, like. That was fucking weird. It didn't hit the glass. It stopped right before it hit that fucking glass and bounced away from it, like whatever had it still had a hold of it, and then it just sucked it into the ground at my feet. Bow, and that was fucking weird.
Well, like I said, if you guys don't know, we had this because, like I said, I'm skeptical of like paranormal stuff. But he told me the story, wrote the book about it, and then while we were talking about, because we were kind of like talking about this a lot, we were talking about Lois. We were talking to Lois and Red on the phone all the time. So we were like we were talking to Steve Mara all the time. We were talking about like poltergeist shit, like pretty much 24/7. So then. Phenomena started occurring in this house. The first time that it happened, me and you and Dimitri and Jen were here, your mom was here, and we were sitting around in the living room, and we were trying to watch Mad Max Fury Road. I remember that, because we were like because we had seen it many, many times, but Dimitri and Jen had not seen it, and they wanted to see it. So we were gonna, like, at that time you could just get it on pay-per-view. Now we have it on Blu-ray. But so we were trying to get it on pay-per-view, and it wasn't working. We were having all kind of, like, issues. So we had to, like, call, you know, the whatever, was it DirecTV or whoever it was?
Yeah.
So we were, like, calling them, like, trying to get that shit. And, like, Tom was getting really frustrated. And because he's like, he was very excited to, like, show Dimitri and Jen this movie. So he was, like, really mad about it. And so we're sitting there, like, waiting for customer service or whatever. And we're sitting around. Me and him are on this couch. Dimitri and Jen are on this couch. And all of a sudden, the remote control picked itself up off the coffee table and flew about 2 or 3 feet, I would say, and then fell to the ground, but didn't bounce. It just
also made a funny noise.
Yeah, it made it made a noise that was, like, much louder than what you would think a little plastic piece of nothing would make. Yeah. It went, like, it picked itself up, it went shoot, and then it went boom.
Yeah.
Bam. It went like that, but it stuck.
And it's funny because I didn't see it. I was there, but they were the ones that saw it.
I saw it. I didn't see it pick up, but I saw it when it was in midair.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting, like, right in front of it, but it was a little bit below my eye line.
Yeah.
But I saw it when it would, because I was like, what the fuck? I thought at first, the first thing I thought was that I had kicked the table without realizing it.
Yeah. But it couldn't. It was a glass table.
I don't think I did, though.
No.
Because there were 2 or 3 other remotes on that table
before that, and what happened
and they didn't move.
Yeah,
and they didn't move. It was just that one, and it seemed to very deliberately pick itself up off the table and fly. And then when it hit the ground, it just went.
Yeah.
And it made like a bam. It made like a weird.
Yeah.
Like a much louder noise than it would make.
When it does it, it's not normal movement.
Because, like I said, it's a plastic remote control.
Yeah.
We did it, like, after that happened, and Dimitri and Jen, like, looked at me like, what the fuck? Did you just see that? I'm like, did you bitches just see that? Because what the fuck? So then we were, like, trying to, like, pick it up and drop it. Like, what kind of noise does that make? And it's just, like, it just goes, like, a little, like, clattery noise. And that wasn't the noise that it made.
Yeah, you forgot. There's more to that.
Well, I know.
When that happened, I stood up and felt that fucking weird feeling, and I looked down at my feet, and there was a stack of coins.
Yeah.
And that stack of coins came from a bedroom. It was in between my feet. That was weird. But the day before, it had pulled the molding off of the fucking...
Did it do that? I thought it did that. I thought that did that after.
No, it did it before.
But I wasn't home for that. I was at work.
Pulled that off. Went pong, pong, and fell and hit the ground. It was weird. And I was like, what happened? Did the moisture warp it? And no, it pulled it out by the nails. Well, it pulled
the nails out.
Pulled it out by the nails, yeah.
It pulled the nails out also.
It just, it can come and go depending on whatever your mental state is. If you think about it too much, but you can't really control it. It's recurrent spontaneous psychokinesis.
But like I said, to me, I don't...
RSPK.
It's not scary to me because I know that it's you doing it.
You got scared, though. You thought something was watching you.
When was that?
You went in that bathroom, she said, you said you felt something fucking watching you over the shoulder. And then it rang the doorbell in the middle of the night. Twice.
And well, that freaked me out. But like I said, I'm pretty sure I wasn't that scared because I figured it was like your shit. I figured it was your subconscious.
Open the garage door.
Shit. Well, yeah, it rang the doorbell at 4 in the morning.
Yeah, it was a couple days later.
A couple days later. The doorbell rang at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was awake.
It rang twice. Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. I heard it ring, and I was awake, but I was kind of like, okay, I'm going to chalk that up to me just imagining that or dreaming it or whatever. So I didn't wake you up, but then it did it again. Like the doorbell rang again, and it was 4 in the morning, and I was wide awake. So I'm like, okay, at this point, I'm waking you up because that's weird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I'm not going to the door. Fuck that. So I woke you up at that point. So like I said, it had already happened, and I was pretty sure that I heard it. It wasn't like, because I was awake. It wasn't like, it woke me up. I was already awake.
See, a lot of people don't like this story. I got Gramthars in there goofing on me. It wasn't a ghost. We thought it was a ghost at the time. We used to call it a ghost, but no. We tried to test it. We did a bunch of stuff to try to get it to react, and just over time, I realized that it was what parapsychologists called RSPK, which is recurrent spontaneous psychokinesis. It's something that the subconscious mind can do under certain circumstances. There's a doctor and a fucking his name is Stuart Hameroff, and then a Nobel Peace Prize winning physicist. His name is what's that fucker's name? Roger Penrose.
Yeah. And
they believe in something called quantum consciousness. Now, they're pretty. Penrose is a huge name, and a lot of people are afraid to attack him on it. But your consciousness and in your mind is not just simply computation like in a computer. There's some kind of quantum computation going on. Quantum computing is fucking weird, very weird, and it's going to involve a bunch of quantum physics, which would allow for things that the average person might consider mind over matter. But that's not exactly what it is. It's more kind of like the mind influencing the reality of certain kinds of physics. A good example would be like Schrodinger's cat and the collapse of waveform is what they call it. Where how long is time? That's another thing. Is like, how long is right now? You know how long the past is, and you kind of know how long the duration of the future is. But if you were to freeze right now, would right now be the same everywhere? Is right now a localized construct? There doesn't seem to be a present. How long is a present? It seems to be infinitesimally small. And if it's infinitesimally small, there's not a big difference between past and present. That it's all like an illusion.
Well, the present is a very ephemeral concept.
Yeah, the present or the right now is not real hard. If it's infinitesimally small, it's the same as saying it doesn't exist.
Well, that's like in the past. Like you just said that. That's in the past now.
Right. Well, time doesn't exist separate from space. It's space-time. Time and space are the same thing. So what that means is that same effect is happening in space, too, and distance. So you start fucking around with concepts like that things that are real are not really real. They're only real if you see it. That kind of shit. And it's mind-boggling stuff that's not supposed to be true, but it might be.
Our brains didn't really evolve to kind of comprehend that stuff.
Right.
So
it could be that your mental state might actually affect matter, which that's weird. Now, aliens might know about this. They might use that for propulsion, and they might understand how to fucking trick things and trick reality to cheat, to move faster than possible or to fucking teleport. Because some of the stuff that I saw fucking amounted to teleportation. Objects appearing out of nowhere. So, yeah, I've seen it. So it means we don't have a very good grasp of physics. Is it supernatural? Nah, I don't think it's supernatural.
I wouldn't call it that.
It's just paranormal.
I just think it's shit we don't understand.
Yeah, something we don't understand yet.
It's shit we don't understand yet. I don't think it's ghosts. I don't think it's anything like that. Well, like I said, even when it happened in the house, the first thing I did, you can attest to this, weird shit happened, like the remote control just randomly went flying across the room and did like the weird shit that it did. The first thing I did was turn to him inside and I said, did you do that?
Yeah.
Did you do that? Yeah. That was the first thing I thought.
Well, it looks like a lot of people have been dropped off, actually. Being boring, probably. Might be time to shut. Might be time to shut. Yeah. Might be time to shut the show down. It's early. We need to fucking get a drink, fucking get something to eat.
Yeah, eating.
Watch a show. We've probably been doing the show for 3-4 hours, huh?
3 hours and 33 minutes.
Yeah, it's time to shut it down.
You think?
Yeah.
It didn't really seem like that long.
No, it went by fast.
It's weird because I kind of like felt like we didn't really have any shit to talk about, but we always
find... No, it went by fast.
We always find some shit to talk about.
We wore them out. Tila didn't show up. A lot of our regulars didn't show up.
She said that she was traveling for work and wouldn't be able to come by. Like, she sent me a thing earlier.
Okay.
So that's why.
All right.
But yeah, we had a troll. That was exciting.
That's funny.
I mean, not really, but that's never exciting. Y'all aren't exciting.
No.
But good try, though.
Yep.
Valiant effort.
Yep.
Not really. But
Victor said he was at work. He was in and out. And Esther didn't show either. Terry said, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Esther's not here. Although I got a couple messages from her earlier on Patreon because she was telling me about Ari Aster, who did Midsommar and Hereditary, has a new movie that's coming out, but I don't know when exactly it's coming out. I think it's called Disappointments Boulevard, something like that. I don't know if it's a horror movie, but we'll see. I mean, I kind of feel like he should only be allowed to make horror movies because that's kind of seems like his wheelhouse, but we'll see.
All right, before we check off, another thing that I wanted to mention about quantum computation and everything, there's another guy that looked into it. He was a physicist, and he was actually looking into poltergeist, what he considered to be good poltergeist cases. And he thought that guys were looking at this for a long time. This isn't new. He thought that possibly it might have had something to do with altered states of consciousness, having to do with the fight or flight response. That could be that, and that kind of makes sense because when it first happened, I was getting scared about going to a haunted house, and I was already in kind of a stressful environment, so it was probably very much linked to.
It's almost kind of like you generated it because when you were going up there, you were already like priming yourself,
priming it up. And it's non-local, so it had been primed up in a location we hadn't been to yet. But that didn't matter because you're dealing with something that's happening outside of normal space-time. So it knew where we would go in the future because it knew what the future was because it's outside space-time. It was a singularity.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I kind of feel like I don't think there's anything supernatural about it, as in people's consciousness survives after death or anything. But it's like I do kind of feel like, not in the way that people that believe in ghosts, kind of posit, but I do kind of feel like people's brains have some like weird properties that maybe we don't know about.
Yeah, well, that's where there's things about, dreaming true and premonitions and
that's what I'm saying.
Possibly talking to the dead.
That's why I don't want to call it supernatural because I don't think it's supernatural in the sense of being outside of nature because I don't think there's any such thing as being outside of nature. If we've discovered something and we kind of see this is a phenomenon that happens and we kind of know how it works or maybe what the mechanism is.
Victor Garcia says poltergeist is teenage horny energy affecting the environment.
I think it might be.
Could be that too.
I think it might be.
It's stronger when you're young going through puberty. Definitely.
I think it might be.
And that's not just me saying that. One of the older cases was 1700s Tokugawa, Japan. And they noticed that there was a young servant girl, and pots and pans would jump around and be thrown, and they know that she didn't touch it. And they called in a samurai who was a scholar, an investigator, and he tried to figure out what was happening around this little girl. It basically did two things around this young teenage girl. It made pots and pans jump and dance or be thrown, and it ripped silk sheets. And it could do it.
Poltergeists are super into like ripping fabric, particularly in triangular patterns. That's something that I've seen a lot.
And evidently it did it in a kind of a mindless fashion over and over again, very repetitive. And the samurai came up with a good idea. He says, well, she's going through puberty. This is an imbalance of chi energy. And the extra chi energy is coming off into this force that's doing
She's
this.
Just throwing it off.
It's
like
just
her
and that's like, and I think that
which in a way that sounds like the most plausible.
Something like that. So there's an imbalance of the chi energy.
Not supernatural.
Boiling over. Yeah. Boiling over, and it's doing this. And so that's how he interpreted it, and he's probably close.
Some people have like super puberty apparently, and it's like their body can't contain all of the
well he also mentioned some stuff about her family life and stuff, and that she was kind of unhappy working in that house. He thought the frustration and the other things in it because she couldn't, which that was a very sophisticated way of analyzing it. I don't remember the guy's name, but that was just one of the older cases that I heard about. Yeah. If that actually happened, if that's not a fake report about an old case.
Yeah, because that's
something that happens too.
Yeah, you gotta watch that.
But it was supposed to be an early one from Tokugawa, Japan.
But like I said, that kind of totally makes sense because, I mean, certain people, if they have certain emotional issues or they have certain, like, family dynamics or family situations, you know, they're going to have, like, we have all these emotions, I can deal with this many emotions, and then it goes, like, extra bodily, I guess, if you want to, like, say that. It's almost like that. Yeah. So I can almost kind of buy that. And like I said, I'm pretty skeptical, but that sounds more plausible to me than
ghosts or demons.
Than, people's consciousness survives after death, which to me, I don't see a mechanism for that, but
quantum computation, quantum entanglement of the mind. I had that out-of-body experience and then near-death experience. I think it does. Now, are you? Not for long. You become something else. But let's go ahead and end the show. The show's been going on too long.
Yeah, I'm kind of hungry.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Tired.
All right. So, thank you everybody for dropping by. Thanks for super chats. We'll be back on Friday night. We're going to be talking about the fucking Raelians, man.
Yeah, that's going to be a good show.
Which, like I said, it's kind of a cult, but the more I read about them, the more I'm like, I don't know if I want to call them a cult because they seem kind of cool. So, I don't know. I mean, it is, but it's like not in the worst ways. Okay, let's put it like that. Yeah. There's some like kind of religious sects that I don't agree with everything they say, but in some ways I'm just like, whatever. Okay, just let them do their thing. They don't hurt anybody. So it's that kind of thing. So you know,
I didn't put any wigs on tonight, but I will. I
was gonna say you didn't even do any.
No wigs.
You know, you haven't done your Mozart wig in a long time, or your Thomas Jefferson wig.
It's got to come over me, man. It's got to be from the heart. I can't fucking just artificially do that shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just wore the same hat all night.
Yeah. It was a boring night.
Oh.
I failed. Go ahead, man. Shut the shit off, man. No, I'm hungry. Let's get.
I'm just gonna like compound it. Yeah, you failed.
I know.
No, I'm just kidding. You didn't really. All right. So So hopefully everybody had a good time this evening. We will see you guys Friday night. We're gonna talk about the Raelians. It'll be super fun. Thanks everybody for dropping by. Thanks for your super chats, and we will see you guys on Friday night. See you later. Bye.